Tomorrow will be mostly sunny with a chance for showers later on, a high of 58 at the lake, 67 inland. Friday, partly sunny, chance for a shower, 60 at the lake, 67 inland. Saturday, mostly sunny with another 60 at the lakefront, 68 inland. And then Sunday, mostly cloudy for a chance of showers, a high of 63. Right now in Madison, it's 43, Green Bay 41, Waukesha is 40, and in Milwaukee, it's 42 degrees. I'm Debbie Lazaga, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 9:09.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
Happy Hump Day, everybody. We made it to Wednesday. Did you know it's National Grump Out Day? Did you know that? I didn't know that till this morning. I always take a little cursory glance at the national days of. First Wednesday in May, National or Great American Grump Out Day. Now, it's not what you think it is at all. It's actually trying to focus on humor, which is, we'll get to that in a second. Self-awareness, we'll get to that in a second too. And positive behaviors. So here's an example of a grump. This is at the state legislature. Joint Finance Committee. You've heard this clip played, but I'm going to go in a completely different direction with it. Play it, Producer Brandon.
When the solutions, apparently, from the Dems are more government, more spending, more welfare, smoke more weed, yeah, our approaches are going to be different.
That's what you show up with? What happened
Come on, man.
What happened to this cordiality and these retreats you were going on? That is, of course, Representative Mark Bourne serving the 39th Assembly District, representing parts of Dodge and Columbia counties. Man, just on its face value, there's probably more weed smoked up in Dodge and Columbia County than most counties, I would imagine. That might be the official smell of those counties, other than that and maybe manure. Is that too tough? Maybe. Now, Mr. Bourne was born and raised in Beaver Dam, where he currently resides with his wife, Liberty. Interesting. Their daughter and their Cocker Spaniel. The daughter and the Cocker Spaniel got equal billing. I have a problem with that. Maybe period after the daughter, and they also have a lovely Cocker Spaniel. I would have rewritten that. And it's on your profile page on your state website, so you might want to just tweak that a little bit. But to the point, this is what I'm talking about. I actually made it my show poll today, and I again, listener Katie, fan of the show, she got it right away. I said, she's got me. So I asked, what are the things you find the most annoying? Politics, all of it, 50% of you. More than 150 votes, we just started. Winter weather and spring, we'll get to that, 21%. Loud, angry know-it-alls, everybody but this show, 27.7%. But the point is not that. It's understanding that all this grumpiness, all this anger, all this Mark Bourne-ish behavior, it's like it's a budget. Why do you have to go there? Why does it have to be your first thing? Do Democrats love marijuana? Sure. Do Republicans also like marijuana? Sure. Independents, they love marijuana. Matter of fact, if you look at the polling, like 70-some% of Wisconsinites love marijuana. It's not controversial anymore. This is not 1950, my friend. The idea is this. Focus on the humor, but that's not funny. Self-awareness, you're not self-aware. If you took a vote in Dodge and Columbia counties, you would lose that vote on marijuana. Trust me. Chances are, if I drove up to Dodge and Columbia County, Beaver Dam, got out of my car, I would smell weed. Whether that's at a Quick Trip or a McDonald's, I would smell weed in the first 5 seconds. I bet. Self-awareness. That's not a positive behavior, which is all the things that the National Grump Out Day is supposed to accomplish. You're missing a point. This is why we have dysfunctional government, because folks like this, they don't get it. It's the first reaction falls back to pointing fingers, calling names, Why? What satisfaction do you get out of that? You already have control of the legislature. You think Dems are going to get anything they want? No, of course not. So what's the point? What are you trying to do other than poke and jab the opponents? Not that difficult. If you're not on the twits, which is probably a good life choice, you can give me your thoughts. What's the most annoying thing? But beyond that, I may even entertain a call or two if you have a good one. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. If you have a complaint, what are you going to do about it? The reason I pointed out Representative Mark Bourne, who I've never met, who's welcome on the show, they all are. Maybe a beautiful human being. He served in law enforcement. All respect for that previous position. All respect. He's also a fan of the Badgers, the Packers, and the Brewers. No Bucks. Missing the Bucks in there. That's telling. Anyway, enough about that. If you have a thought on things you're angry about, but beyond that, how you would address that anger, how you're trying to fix that dilemma. That's what I want. 855-616-1620. The Old National Bank talk and text line, wide open, as are the phone lines. We got a busy show today. Sandy Max, star of the afternoon news program here on WTMJ, one of the stars, along with Greg Matzik and John Mercure, will join us at 9:35. You got a trip to London, England, happening. We'll talk about that. Maybe some coronation chit-chat. As someone who was born in that country, I'm not that excited about it. But I know Sandy is. Stay with us. I'm not going to have you put it in writing, but it's a 3-hour requirement today because it's good. Ooh, it's a good show. And don't forget, the last hour, ask Steve anything. Any question is fair game. We still don't have a theme song for that. We got to come up with something. Producer Brandon, you get on that? Yes, he's giving me the nod of approval, which may or may not mean we'll have a resolution to that in next week or so. All right, quick break.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
There are heroes among us who run toward danger rather than away from it. We call them first responders. This is Steve Scafidi. WTMJ is partnering with Educators Credit Union to honor police officers, firefighters, and countless others who work every day to protect our families and loved ones. Do you have a first responder you would like to nominate? Go to WTMJ.com, click on the Salute to Service banner, and share your story. We'll bring you the incredible stories during Salute to Service month in May.
Steve Scafidi's Salute to Service with Educators Credit Union. Details now at WTMJ.com.
Hey, just heard from me. Now you're going to hear from me again. Steve Scafidi. For Advents, I had snoring issues. My experience was I was not living the best life. I was tossing and turning, a lot of waking up at night. You don't want that. My nose wasn't working properly. I went to Advent. My experience was quick 30-minute visit, met the docs. They put me at ease. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They figured it out. They found out that my problem was my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. Matter of fact, I just had a doc look in my nose. He goes, man, you got a lot of room in there. I go, yes, indeed, Advent. I'm back to sleeping through the whole night. Solid nights of sleep. That's why I have so much energy, and that's why I'm so much fun to be around. Thank you, Advent. That can be you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. I know. They know. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
The Old National Bank talk and text line is on fire. I'm on fire today. I got a lot of energy, positive energy, not the negative kind. There's enough of that. Just go to the Wisconsin State Legislature. Go to a JFC meeting. Joint finance. You'll hear a lot of that. And I understand. Somebody said it's Twitter, not the twit. I get it. I know that. But thank you for that. Thanks for taking the time to text. From the 207, love the long distance listen. This one's from Maine. Beautiful state of Maine. Been there a couple times. Gorgeous. Very Wisconsin-like. Very Wisconsin-like, I thought. I did not see a moose up there. That was one of my goals. Did not. Steve, I don't like pot. I live in Maine, and it's legal here. It's terrible. Pot dispensaries are everywhere and has oversaturated it, and it stinks. That is a byproduct of that. That is a consideration that states have to make. Now, I go to Illinois a lot. Both of my daughters and their husbands and my grandchildren live there. Now, I've stopped at gas stations, restaurants, been to many places, sporting events, concerts. Maybe concerts is the place where you smell weed, but I don't I don't get out of my car and smell weed right away. So I mean, it's legal there. For the 920, the Wisconsin legislature is exactly why I've stopped voting for Republicans in state elections. National elections, I will still vote Republican, but in Wisconsin, this legislature is no longer representing the will of the people. They're only representing Republican talking points. Some. If there's a revolution that needs to happen for Republicans in the state of Wisconsin, discard the crazy. Whatever that number is, I think it fluctuates between 10 and 25%. Discard it. It's lunacy. It's like they're living in an alternate reality, a generation that is long past. Hairstyles, clothing. It's like you could take their picture and you go, is that his like 1945 high school graduation picture? No, the dude, that was yesterday. Like that kind of weird. And on the issue of marijuana, look, this is a great subject because we have this incredible public support for it. And last time I checked, maybe I'm wrong on this. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Legislators, elected leaders are supposed to represent the will of their constituents. But that doesn't happen because we know that the evolution of being an elected official is you represent your opinion. And you have to push your opinion on your constituents, not vice versa. To the point where they don't even have to listen to it anymore. They won't answer your emails. They won't answer your phone calls. That's part of your job description. That's not a voluntary, it's required. But somehow that's not happened. So thanks for that text. From the 9-2, I've lived in Dodge County all my life. I've lived in Beaver Dam for 20 years, and the only times I've ever smelled weed is when my sister comes over. What's she up to? That might be, that just might be. It's early. It's only 9:22. That might be our text of the day.
And that is today's text of the day.
I love that. We got it out of the way at 9:20. That might be an all-time record. Lived in Dodge County all my life. Lived in Beaver Dam 20 years. Only times I ever smelled weed is when my sister comes over. Tell me what I'm just curious, texter from the 920. What does your sister do for a living? Just if you want to share that.
That was my skull. I'm so wasted.
Yes, especially in Dodge and Columbia counties. Although if you listen to their elected leader, we don't want it. Let's see. There's no field sobriety test for marijuana. Actually, there is. Abbott Labs has been working on this for probably a decade. It's there. The technology is there if two things. Law enforcement wants it. Two, constituents, voters want to pay for it. It's there. Like a lot of things. Technology can do a lot of things. Greg from Greenfield. Why is there a stigma against pot? It's natural and better for you than booze. Because we love booze in this state. We are booze consumers. We drink till we drop. You been to a tailgate party? My goodness. For the 414, it's also another source of revenue for the states. Yeah, big time. $500 million, I think, in Illinois. And they just got started. We're surrounded by marijuana states, and a country like Canada is all in. Here's the thing. It doesn't mean you have to smoke marijuana at all. No such requirement. You don't have to. You can dress like it's the 1950s and pretend it is. You don't have to smoke marijuana. Rome from Milwaukee. Rome, am I being too mean today?
No, you're right on point, and this is a conversation that needed to be had. As I travel around the country, I see that those states that have approved the sale of marijuana, be it the medical or the recreational, those states seem to be doing quite well with the finances. The thing that I want to make a point of is that here in Wisconsin, our representatives are really giving us a bad deal, because I know people that are going back and forth to Michigan. Now, you keep talking about Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan has the deals. That's where people are going, and that money is just flying out of our state. I was in Pennsylvania, where they have the medical. Now, the people that I know in Pennsylvania, mostly older senior citizens, people that, have a lot of aches and pains, this has become something, an alternative to the pain medication for them.
Absolutely.
As I go to a state, I was in Washington, D.C. about 2 weeks ago, and they have the medical and the recreational. And, I mean, people aren't just, I don't see anyone smoking in public any more than I do here in Wisconsin. Now, as a driver of Lyft here in Milwaukee, I'd say 70% of the people I pick up in a day's time has the smell of marijuana on them.
Okay.
Or I'm taking them to some corner store or vape shop, so they can get whatever supplies they need.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking my time. I hope that our
always love talking.
Wake up.
I always love talking to Ron. Always brings something fun. He's a world traveler. He's all over the place. A couple more texts before we go to break here. Steve, let's be clear. Both our state and our federal representatives are representing their party or their own view, not the people. Of course. That's the difference in politics. It's politics played as sports. And just on the marijuana question, I think we kind of went off topic there, but it's something that Representative Bourne mentioned in his little diatribe there, which had nothing to do with their work. Taking shots. That's what they do. But maybe the reason the public is looking to marijuana as as an alternative to all the BS that's spewed by elected officials in this state and elsewhere every damn day, maybe maybe marijuana takes the edge off that politics. Food for thoughts, weed for thoughts on this Wednesday on WTMJ.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Hey, I'm John Merkier.
And I'm Sandy Max.
Great news for fans of Wisconsin's afternoon news.
You can now hear every episode of the show across the podcast universe.
That's right. You'll never have to miss a single interview, story, or fun conversation.
You're not giving in to the process.
Yeah, you're done? You're done.
Well, I was hoping somebody would try and slide a little food. There's a little slot here underneath the door, some cold cuts. Pretty thin.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Differentiation Officer Brian Wickert reminding home shoppers that working with AccuNet is different and better than working with your bank. Most bank pre-approvals state they've only verified the potential home buyer's credit, but not their income or money for down payment. To us, that's just crazy. AccuNet's rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval tells the seller we've checked out all three aspects of your financial health, and that will pay $2,000 if our pre-approval is faulty. Banks don't do that, but they do have a lot of overhead with all their vice presidents and fancy branches. We keep overhead low, which means lower rates and closing costs that are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks. Most importantly, our loan consultants can show you and your agent how to improve your financing and appraisal contingencies so your offer has the best chance of winning in a multiple offer situation. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Click on the blue button today for your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. When a company needs to downsize, two things are essential: managing the employees affected and making sure your company's reputation stays intact. LAK Group profoundly understands this, having assisted companies across the Midwest with outplacement. LAK acts as your partner, giving employees guidance and ensuring companies get through it smoothly. If you need outplacement services, LAK can help. Learn more at transformingcareers.com. LAK Group. Discover your human advantage.
Smooth waters and clear horizons are ahead. The experienced team of advisors at Fox World Travel are ready to uncover your cruising style. Are you sailing off into a Caribbean sunset? Taking in the European charm along riverways? Maybe an exotic expedition or Alaskan cruise are on your bucket list. We'll help you cruise like never before with Princess Cruise Lines, Avalon Waterways, Celebrity Cruises, and more. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call a Fox Cruise expert at 866-GO-FOX-GO.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
A whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny. You've come to fight as free men. And free men you are. What will you do with that freedom? Will you fight? Fight against that? No! We will run! And we will live. Aye. Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
I love it. Thank you, Mel Gibson. Braveheart, one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, we're going to fight the good fight. Standing up for things that should be said that aren't said enough. When people act like fools or do stupid things, we don't read the talking points, don't care. I don't care if I hurt Republicans' feelings. I don't care if I hurt Democrats' feelings. There's no equal time. If you do something dumb, we'll point it out. Right now, my Republican friends, you're saying dumb stuff. Have you seen the last two elections? Learn from them, including the representative from Columbia and Dodge County. All right, news time, 9:31 from our Breaking News Center. Debbie Lazigan.
All right, thanks, Steve. Local governments across Wisconsin would see at least a 10% increase in funding under a Republican plan released on Tuesday. The package would increase funding known as shared revenue to cities, counties, towns, and villages by $227 million. It would allow Milwaukee and Milwaukee County to raise a sales tax if approved by voters. A Texas manhunt is over. A man suspected of killing 5 of his neighbors in Texas is in custody following a large manhunt. We're now hearing Francisco Oropeza's wife has also been arrested. Railroad tracks damaged after a train derailment in western Wisconsin along the Mississippi River have been repaired. The Federal Rail Administration is investigating the derailment. Time for news about your money on the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 9 points to 33,694. The NASDAQ is up 36 points to 12,117. And the S&P is up about 7 points to 4,126. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button today. And taking a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, we're actually looking pretty good. The only real issue is a disabled vehicle on the ramp from 4394 southbound to 894 westbound in the Mitchell. It is off on the right shoulder, but since it's through that interchange, you want to be extra careful. But the rest of the system is moving along actually pretty well. And your WTMJ 5-day forecast today, mostly sunny, a high of 53, at the lakefront, 58 inland. Then tonight, decreasing clouds, a low of 38. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a chance for showers later on with a high of 58 at the lake, 67 inland. On Friday, looking better, partly sunny with a chance for a shower, a high of 60 at the lakefront, 67 inland. Saturday looks great, mostly sunny, a high of 60 at the lakefront, 68 inland. And Sunday, mostly cloudy with a chance for showers, a high of 63. Right now in Appleton, it's 41, McWanago 45, and in Milwaukee, it's 42 degrees. I'm Debbie Laziga, Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Times 9:33.
In Wisconsin, our festivals and events are in full swing all summer long. Here's to seeing legendary golfers at the U.S. Senior Open Championship in Stevens Point, to joining thousands of your closest music-loving friends at Summerfest in Milwaukee, and to wondering, where art thou, Romeo? At the Wisconsin Shakespeare Festival premiere this summer in Eau Claire. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Find more summer events at travelwisconsin.com.
Get everything you need for your backyard at Fleet Farm's Get Outdoors event. Score savings on lawn care equipment like lawnmowers and string trimmers. Plus, find great deals on dining sets and gazebos for the patio. Don't forget about the yard. Pick up Superior Potting Mix for just $3.99. And the Garden Center is now open. Stop in to check out Midwest-grown plants for your garden. Pick up everything you need to get outdoors at Fleet Farm.
It's WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Sister Bay Furniture. Wisconsin weather can be tough on all of us. A snowy gray morning can quickly evolve into a bright, warm afternoon, inviting you to fire up the grill and enjoy some quality outdoor time. Sister Bay Furniture is premium, high-quality outdoor furniture, built in Wisconsin, built for Wisconsin. Built from premium and sustainable materials, Sister Bay designs and builds patio furniture to survive years of Wisconsin weather. That's commercial-grade quality for your outdoor space. Customize your Sister Bay set. Pick from several different styles and colors to fit your unique outdoor space. Need professional help? Sister Bay Furniture offers a team of in-house design experts. They can help you plan and create the outdoor space of your dreams. Don't wait until the next beautiful day this year. Get out to their showroom today. It's located in Sussex on Executive Drive, or visit their website, sisterbayfurniture.com, to shop the entire selection. Sister Bay Furniture, built in Wisconsin for Wisconsin.
Hey all of you jokesters, this is Max and we're back with another joke of the week. What do lawyers wear to the courtroom? Lawsuits. Ha ha! I cracked myself up. Back to Steve's Cafe Show.
Oh yeah, young Max. He writes his own material now. The kid's a hot shot. You heard that laugh, that famous laugh in the halls of GKB. Sandy Max joining me in studio.
I laugh if it's funny.
It was funny.
And that was solid. Did you teach him that?
He is self-taught. He's very, what's the term?
Funny?
He's funny, yes. But very demonstrative, very, he likes to perform.
Aw.
Yeah, well, you've been around that all your life. You love to perform.
I grew up a dancer. That was
You
my...
did?
Yeah.
Like what kind of dance?
Ballet, tap, jazz, modern.
Could you still, like, do a, what do they call it, pirouette?
A pirouette?
Yeah.
You want to try?
No.
We have the video.
I want you to break it.
Well, I have headphones on. But
Seriously?
almost,
Oh, you almost killed yourself.
See, it's the headphones.
Yeah, the
But
headphones.
Yes, you just missed the pirouette.
That was impressive, though.
It was okay.
Yeah, and you did it for the camera.
My parents
too.
would be proud.
Yeah.
So I grew up dancing, so that was my performance, and then wound up getting into broadcast. So you'd call
What
that
was your
performance.
first broadcast gig?
College. I went to Marquette University because they had
look at you,
student-run
Marquette.
media. Yeah, so WMUR, I worked my way up through the ranks there and was even general manager there. But then I wound up interning at QFM, the classic rock station.
That is like a life story. That's like not Reitman and that. All
No,
that was,
this would have been the early 90s.
Yeah. You before that or after that? When were they big?
After them.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were the Downstairs Dan, Mark the Shark
Oh
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
God,
David Lee.
Yeah, you're hitting some of the old stuff. I remember
Yeah,
that.
so that was a real gift.
What years were you in college?
Come on now. I just told you
I didn't ask
QFM
you
was
your
the early
age.
90s. We'll just leave it at that.
All right. All right, so
Let a woman have some mystery, would you, Steve?
Yes, and you have a lot of mystery. But not about this, because one of the reasons you're on, of many reasons, because we were chatting before the show, you've got this London trip. Now, you know that I was born in England.
Which part of England were you born in?
Around Swindon, so, what is that, northwest of, almost to Gloucester, like halfway.
Okay.
Yeah, so beautiful part of.
No accent.
No, I was only there like a few months. Birdrup Park Air Force Base, which then turns into a Royal Air Force Base, and then I think was decommissioned at some point.
Okay.
And I think it's like offices or something now. And I do BBC radio once in a while, and they always ask me about this stuff. And I kind of was in that area when I went there last time, but I didn't go visit that actual site.
Britain is in your blood.
It is in my blood. But you're taking like listeners to
October.
The UK.
It's called The Beatles and More, an England adventure. And so
I love that.
Yeah. So it's fun for me because it's going to be a blend of London, which I've been to at least 10 times since 1996 is when I started going to England. It's just my happy place. So we're going to see some London landmarks, do a secret food tour in Borough Market there, which is going to be fun, and then see some Beatles landmarks in London. We will walk across Abbey Road.
Famously across.
Yeah. Then we're going to go to Liverpool. Rip and run,
Never
go to
been to
Strawberry
Liverpool.
Fields. Oh, yeah. And we even have a special private evening access to the Beatles Story Museum that's just going to be our TMJ group.
So I don't want to forget this. We'll do it a couple times while you're here. How do they find out about the trip?
Oh, easy. WTMJ.com or easier, Sandy at WTMJ.com. I'm glad to email you. It's going to be a fun itinerary.
So you've been there a bunch of times.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about this time?
That's a tough question. I think it's going to be a combination of things. First of all, going with a group, because I usually just go either by myself or with one other person and kind of rip and run the streets. So sharing this in a group is going to be fun. But Stonehenge is one of our stops.
Also, never been. I mean, I know a lot about it because I watch those shows all the time on TV. But
it's just epic to be around ultimate classic rock. Really, I mean, frolic around Stonehenge and have fun. So I like that. But we're also going to go through the Cotswolds, which is a beautiful English countryside.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Picture perfect.
Yep.
And we're going to go to Windsor, which I went to when Harry and Meghan got married. I was on the long walk.
You were
in the park and
you went
saw
there
their
for
horse.
that.
I did. Here's why I went, because in 2018, the Queen wasn't in great health. The Prince Philip had just fallen and hurt his hip, and he was in his 90s. All the little babies that William and Kate are having, their weddings weren't going to be for another 20 years. So I'm like, the next major national event is probably not going to be a happy one. So let's go soak up the vibe like you're seeing now for the coronation. Flags being waved and people gathering.
So how all in are you on this coronation? Are you going to stay up and watch it? I mean, there's coverage like nonstop.
I am going to get up early. I mean, here's what's really weird. I was in London in September when the Queen passed away.
You were?
Yes. And that was an amazing historic experience to be around.
Much loved. I mean, people have complaints about the monarchy, but she was much loved.
That's what I was going to say. So I know there are discussions about should the monarchy evolve. I mean, she was queen for 70 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's a long time. But there was a very grandmotherly feeling about her. And I think even people who were like, hey, let's not spend money on the royalty, should that evolve, still found her to be a beloved figure, a steadying figure. So it was really fascinating to be at Buckingham Palace and see flowers stacked up to your shoulders and how people of all ages, races, and groups came together. And grandparents felt it was important to bring their grandchildren to come pay tribute and signs. And some people would pray, and some people you could see were just in tears. It was a very profound moment. And then I watched, you want to talk what I did watch? I watched the funeral procession. So I got up early and watched that live. So I'm interested in the pomp and ceremony and the circumstance. The rehearsals are happening at Westminster Abbey right now. And if you go on TikTok, you can find videos of the live rehearsal. And Westminster Abbey is one of the stops we're going to make on this Beatles and More tour.
And I've taken it's stunning. I mean, all the graves and the
history
in the crypts of all the leaders and famous people. It's something you have to see. So where are you at King Charles?
I think I have mixed feelings. I have very mixed feelings. You know, here's what I like about King Charles. He has tried to modernize. He does have causes that he supports, the sustainable agriculture, the environment. He's a big art collector. One of the last times I went to England, I went to Buckingham Palace and took the staterooms tour, and he had this massive collection of art that he displayed, and he encourages creativity in all the Commonwealth. So, like, that's what I like. You know, I watch The Crown, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Season 4, you know.
He's had a crazy life.
Yeah, it's like, I think we all feel like Diana got done a little wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Could he have been a better father? You know, and I don't know how I feel about Camilla. So I'm not all in. I'm not a royalist, but I really enjoy the history. And the
absolutely.
ornateness and the fascinating traditions of the orb and the scepter and all those layers of detail and history and reasons behind they do all these things. That's interesting to me. But I will confess, I do think it probably is time for there to be an examination of this whole royal lifestyle, and does it serve a purpose?
I think he's a seat filler because everybody's waiting for his son. And that will re-energize and reinvigorate the monarchy. That's my take.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's popular, as is Kate.
We'll find out how long King Charles III will be King Charles
Well,
III.
that's the thing.
What's the over-under on that?
He's got longevity in his background, so, I mean, he could be around for a while. He seems like a seat filler to me. And I've been reading a lot of stuff from the UK.
It's a fancy seat to fill, let me tell you.
Yeah, and I just saw this like yesterday. He's worth like $1.5 billion.
Thanks to who?
Thanks to the taxpayers of the UK.
One of my favorite people in London is a retired BBC reporter. His name is Mike Embley, and he's very charming and fun. But I was like, hey, are you getting caught up in the coronation craziness? And he is appalled at the $125 million price tag on this big ceremony and weekend of festivities. And he's also appalled. Have you heard about the coronation oath?
Yeah.
So what is supposed to happen, as I understand, is there's a part during the coronation ceremony where all of the subjects, so that means everybody who lives in the Commonwealth, You're supposed to basically stand up and go, "Oh yes, King." I don't know if you raise an arm or if you salute or what. There's probably a body stance that goes with that. But yeah,
Yeah, you're
there are a lot
pledging
of-
your allegiance to the king.
Yeah, which hasn't been done for 70 years. I suppose Queen Elizabeth did it on TV ages ago, but I think a lot of people have a lot of problem with that.
Is it Henry VIII had all the wives, 6 wives?
Yes.
God,
Yeah.
that story. I watched something on that yesterday in anticipation of your visit.
Well, how delightful, because Tower of London is one of our stops on the
Yes.
Beatles and more tour.
He sent a few people there.
Oh, just a few, yeah. Email me, sandy@wtmj.com, if you want to go
You're
to
not
England.
going anywhere. I got more questions.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to keep you for like
Okay.
10 more minutes. I want to ask you about Downton Abbey.
Oh, delightful.
Because you're an expert. I've watched it once through.
Yes.
I have some questions.
Oh, good.
All right. Sandy Mack, Steve. Wednesday hump day on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature brought to you by the Frederick and the Medical College Wisconsin Health Network. If you or a family member have received a serious diagnosis like cancer, heart disease, or a neurological condition, you may have been offered a clinical trial as part of treatment, and you may have questions about participating. With us today to discuss clinical trials is Dr. Ben George, a Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin medical oncologist and director of the Cancer Clinical Trials Office. He'll help us understand what clinical trials are, how they fit into treatment, and why they're important. Dr. George, first of all, thanks for being with us today. What are clinical trials?
Clinical trials are broadly mechanisms to investigate the safety and effectiveness of new treatments. It may be a new drug, it may be a new approach to surgery, a new modality like radiation therapy, or lifestyle changes that can improve outcomes. Ultimately, the goal of clinical trials is really to advance our frontiers in terms of treatment options, assimilating our latest developments in science and technology.
What about a patient who isn't offered a clinical trial? Is it appropriate for that patient to ask their doctor whether there might be something available that would be appropriate for them?
I would strongly encourage patients and their families to be advocates for themselves. In fact, it would be a neat idea for them to check with their provider whether they are a candidate for a clinical trial at the time that they initiate treatment. Absolutely.
Doctor, the truth is there's been so many developments in medical science and in the way we treat serious diseases like cancer, and a lot of that comes from people participating in clinical trials. That's where these developments originate from, right?
I could not agree more. Absolutely. It sets the tone for advancements in healthcare.
Dr. George, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Find a doctor who's right for you by visiting Fredert.com.
Coming to Milwaukee's Pabst and Riverside Theaters, Frankie Valli, May 5th. Traffic's Dave Mason, May 18th. The Moody Blues' John Lodge, July 19th. Get tickets today at PabstTheaterGroup.com.
I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do,
You can't beat Burkhart.
if you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silk screening and embroidery facility for quality control. So if you want the highest quality team outfitting and incredible service,
You can't beat Burkhart.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Little big tunes for you. My homeland. I've only been there a couple times. I will go back.
You want to come back with me in October?
I'm taking a trip with listeners in September.
To England?
No.
Where are you going?
We're going to Tuscany.
Oh, my.
Yeah, there's going to be... I've been to Tuscany. It's fantastic.
See, as much as you tell everybody that you were born in Great Britain, I feel like you maybe you should have been born in Italy.
Yes, my wife and I spent a couple days in Sicily, and I want to live there because I have relatives that could find a place for me. The cost of living is cheaper than here. It's gorgeous every day. The views are spectacular.
And
I don't
food
see it.
and the wine.
And the food and wine are incredible, so I don't see the downside. All right, so just real quick, I recently discovered Downton Abbey. I'm not an expert on it.
Welcome.
So you're like an expert on it. You've taken trips on it. You've hosted shows on it.
I have a podcast called Downton Blabby.
So
just so we can talk about it. Oh, yeah.
So this is rich people in the country outside of London. They do go to London occasionally, who are transitioning from incredible opulence to a reality that style of life is going to go away at some point. Is that like a good description?
Sure. It starts the Downton Abbey TV series. If you didn't catch it on PBS the first time or streaming, 10 seasons, and it starts in 1912 when the Titanic sinks and follows them all the way to the 20s. And then there are 2 films now that you can watch.
I've seen parts of one of them.
Oh, you need to see both of them. You'll enjoy it. Doesn't it just feel like a wonderful escape?
If I had that life, I would love it because these are rich people living in these opulent mansions, but things are changing for them.
Yes.
The world is changing.
And anytime you have to, I mean, if you just own a home, you know how much it costs for upkeep and making sure the furnace and the roof and the siding and the concrete is maintained. Now, imagine you have a huge house, acres and acres of land and gardens, and you have to maintain that. But at that time in England, your Highclere Castle, which is the real life castle, mirrors a lot of the life of Downton Abbey, so that's the set. It was the center of that community. So it was the state. It's very feudal. It goes back to knights and kings,
right.
So they
Everybody
would have the
worked
parcels of land.
For the owners.
Right.
Yeah.
So it does follow over this 10, 15-year process how that lifestyle changes. Because at some point, spoiler alert, the lord of the manor invests poorly and loses all of the savings.
Was it the original Ponzi scheme? I think it was something like that. He was thinking about investing in
that he actually, I think, invested poorly in trains, but
That's
he
right.
married a wealthy American. That's Elizabeth McGovern, Lady Cora. It was Lady Cora's brother who got into the Ponzi schemes, and that was played by Paul Giamatti, who's a great actor.
One of the cool things I love about that
Yeah.
now watching that is so many of those actors I've seen in other like modern shows, historical pieces, a brilliant cast.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Doing all kinds of great work.
And a big cast, and that is what is so fascinating about this phenomenon. We keep talking about rich people. Well, there are the people upstairs, the Granthams and the Crawleys, but it is the people downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
The people downstairs, but the staff.
Upstairs, downstairs.
Right. It really is a modern version of upstairs, downstairs, and all the storylines of the universals of finding love and finding value in your work and how are you of purpose, and then the loves and the losses, and there's a lot to enjoy. It's a fancy soap opera, but you asked me how historically accurate is it?
That's what I'm curious about.
I'm glad to tell you that Downton Abbey is extremely historically accurate. They even hired a historian named Alistair Bruce, who you will see, those of you watching in England, he's going to be one of the commentators. He is an expert on all things history, and he is the person who would tell all the actors, oh, no, you'd never put your hands in your pockets.
To that
as you were
level of
standing."
detail.
Yes. It reminded me of the movie Titanic,
right,
where there was that level of detail down to the patterns of China. It is that level of detail in Downton Abbey. So even if you're not into the soap opera, get into the eye candy, because that is Highclere Castle, where I've been 3 times. I've walked down that staircase. I'm telling you, it's magic.
What I love about working with you is you have an expertise of a lot of different things, including bowling,
Yes.
which we're not going to get into. But you also have an expertise in bowling.
From bowling to British things,
Yes.
to British music and British TV and film.
My home country, you know a heck of a lot more about than I do, which I'm in awe of. So nice job, you.
Well, thank you. And that's why it is a thrill for this trip that we're going on in October.
Yes.
The
Sell
Beatles
that-
and
sell
more.
that trip.
Well, just to mention, I mean, if you two are getting excited, I will, spoiler alert, we are not going to Highclere Castle on this trip, but we are going to a little village called Lacock. I'm going to call it Lecoq. I've not heard it said yet. But this is a village where they've filmed Harry Potter films.
Oh.
And if you saw the first Downton Abbey film where the king is prancing through this little village, that's the little village that his horses are
you like
parading
me?
through.
When you I've been to Stratford-upon-Avon and all those
Oh,
places.
good. That's where we're going to.
Every one of those communities is like a postcard.
Yeah.
Honestly, or the Cotswolds or any of those
Mhm.
areas. Every vista is a postcard. Same thing with Italy. I don't know that we have that here. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just looks better.
I think we have some underappreciated moments. Like a lot of us don't just drive to the lake and go, this
Yeah.
is a beautiful view of Lake Michigan. And or like going up north. Like, I think we savor those moments.
I think that's right. We have it, but we don't appreciate it.
Because it's right there. How many people do you know stop and, hey, look, I'm going to take a picture of myself in front of Big Ben,
Right. All right, so how do they find out more about the trip?
Oh, I'd love for you to join me. Email me. That's the easiest way. Sandy@WTMJ.com, SANDY at WTMJ.com. It's going to be a 10-day vacation in October. We're going to go to London, Liverpool, Windsor, Stonehenge, Oxford, Stratford-upon-Avon.
Oxford's beautiful. All those colleges. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we'll do the big city
My
and the
mom's from
countryside.
Oxford.
Then we'll get some tips from you on places to go. But
perhaps
some sipping some pubs. It's just the right balance of we're going to check off some landmarks, and we're also just going to have time to relax and experience England the way you want to. So Sandy@WTMJ.com. You can also check out the website too.
Fun to hang out with you.
Oh, always a pleasure. I'm I'm here, so
yeah, I need a co-host. Just kidding.
But you know some of my areas of expertise. If you want to talk British things or music, or we could talk Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tomorrow if you want.
All right.
Because I'll get out now.
To be considered, to be determined.
Yeah.
Sandy Max, check it
Thank
out.
you.
Awesome trip. Take a quick break here.
Hip, hip, and cheerio.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
No matter the hour. We are following a developing and breaking story out of Waukesha.
No matter the day. Russia continues its invasion of Ukraine as President Biden announces sanctions.
The news doesn't stop.
An abortion ban now in place in Wisconsin.
And neither do we. Over 1,000 years is how long Darrell Brooks Jr. will spend behind bars.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
National Weather Service calling it a once-in-a-generation event.
News Radio 620.
WTMJ.
There's a race going on inside your body, and sometimes the bad guys, otherwise known as arthritis, get there first. That's when the joint pain kicks in.
Your healing process is just too slow and just can't catch up, and it needs just a little bit of help from QC Kinetics.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director.
We all know that you can heal yourself. If you get a cut, it heals on its own. Your joints are no different. We can take the healing properties from your blood, concentrate them down, and put them in the spot that you need the help. It's amazing. Your body can heal itself.
At QC Kinetics, that's called regenerative medicine. No surgery or steroids, just lasting relief, the natural way.
The fact that we can treat them without surgery, but using their own body's natural healing process, without medications, without steroids, without surgery, it's just amazing.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
For your new roof, we'll give you the hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty in the industry. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Tune in on Sundays at 10 a.m. for the AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show. Join AccuNet's Brian and David Wickert for the most up-to-date information on mortgage trends, along with timely news on the real estate market. The housing market is in flux, but the national headlines don't often fit local market conditions. Find out what's really happening on the front lines of real estate and mortgage financing in Wisconsin and make better decisions by tuning in every Sunday at 10 a.m. The AccuNet Mortgage and Realty Show with Brian and David Wickert on WTMJ.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show.
We got a busy 10 o'clock hour coming up, too. I'm just getting started, folks. Thanks for joining us. Here's my outline. I'm snapping next to the mic. A couple things we're going to talk about. How much do you blame the media for the state of affairs of the country? How much do you blame the media for politics, for the characters we have to endure every day in politics? How much is that our fault? So a little inward thinking, and I want to get your serious thoughts on that. And let's be honest about it. Everybody plays a role in the mess we've created when it comes to politics, including the media. So we'll have a little conversation about that. Ask Steve Anything, 11 o'clock hour. Lots of fun. You can be part of it. 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. News is next.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Need a new bank for your small business? How about an old one? Now through June 30th, you can earn up to a $500 cash bonus when you open a free or basic business checking account with Old National. So think big when it comes to your small business and choose a bank where relationships and results matter. Visit a local branch or apply at oldnational.com/success today. Complete qualifying activities within 60 days of account opening. $50 minimum initial deposit required. Account must remain open 120 days. Member FDIC. Old National Bank. Get old.
Earn points every time you shop with Fleet Rewards. 500 points gets you a $5 reward. It's free and easy to sign up, in-store or online. Sign up today and start saving with Fleet Rewards at Fleet Farm.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. The best time to plan a funeral is when you don't have to. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Heard it work? Contact Tayback for the payback. Go to taybackattorneys.com.
The place to get caught up, to speak out, to connect and be entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 10 o'clock, it is 44 degrees. High today in the 50s, warmer than it's been. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Eric Bilstead. Local governments across the state going to see at least a 10% increase in funding. That under a Republican plan that is now out and being circulated in Madison. The package would increase funding. It's known as shared revenue. It would go to cities, counties, and villages across the state. It would add a $227 million to that group. It would allow Milwaukee, and Milwaukee County specifically, to raise a sales tax if approved by voters. Now, this money would be required to focus on pension obligations, with stipulations for Milwaukee to keep the current level of police officer and firefighter staffing. No money could go toward the HOP streetcar. Milwaukee State Senator LaTanya Johnson.
Anything that's proposed for the city of Milwaukee will be like holding a loaded gun to our head. We are not going to have many choices in terms of compromise.
It would appear that Republicans want to move quickly on this measure. It would then go to the governor's desk if it were approved by both houses. The Federal Reserve is going to wrap up its meetings later today, and it's expected to have something to say when it comes to interest rate hikes. It's not whether the Fed will announce a raising interest rate, it's by how much. That's the question, according to economists. The central bank's under pressure to act cautiously or forever hold its peace. In Texas, the man who had been leading authorities on a manhunt for the last couple of days, accused of killing 5 neighbors, he is now in custody. And now his wife is also in custody. That man, a Mexican nationalist. A car crash in Fond du Lac County because of Huffy, now a 20-year-old who drove his car into the Verizon store on Rolling Meadows Drive last week, is facing charges. He could spend decades behind bars. Also a crash in Waterford where a man who was drunk, according to police, driving his car into a subway. That happened on Tuesday. The Russians claim that a Ukrainian drone was used attempting to kill Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Ukrainians say that is not the case. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:02.
What if you could build a 6-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a 6-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. Again, 1-800-578-3535.
Quality furniture that lasts. The good stuff.
And because it's good quality furniture, it won't be the least expensive. But if you compare our caliber of furniture and our prices to the other higher-end furniture stores throughout Greater Milwaukee, you'll find that Ken Michaels Furniture is truly priced at a value. It's the kind of furniture you won't regret buying. The good stuff at good prices. Furniture for life at Ken Michaels Furniture. In Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee, browse our selection at kenmichaelsfurniture.com. We've been doing this for quite some time, so we know the value of solid wood furniture. But we found that using solid hardwood laminates actually make for sturdier, more versatile furniture frames. Frames on the Ken Michaels Furniture line are cross-grained, so weak spots like wood knots are eliminated. And unlike natural wood frames, ours don't expand and contract. So they're more durable, stronger, and of course, they last longer. Furniture for life at Ken Michaels Furniture Stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
The Milwaukee Brewers began their 6-game road trip on Tuesday night out in Colorado and did so with a dud, dropping Game 1 of 3 to the Rockies by a final score of 3-2. Freddie Peralta got the start for the Brewers and pitched well, going 6 strong innings, striking out 10 hitters, and only allowing 2 earned runs. Milwaukee is right back at it tonight with a first pitch of 7:40 at Coors Field. Eric Lauer is slated to be on the mound for the Brewers. Over to the NFL, where the Packers have extended the contract of their new starting quarterback Jordan Love on Tuesday, according to ESPN. It is a 1-year extension worth $22.5 million with $13.5 million guaranteed. The deal keeps Jordan Love as the starting quarterback through 2024. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Checking the roads with your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 through the zoo into the Marquette is clear at 17 minutes. 4145 southbound, Highway Q to the zoo. Delay free, looking good at 15. 43 southbound Brown Deer Road into downtown. Full freeway speeds there. It's 12 and 94 northbound, looking good from Layton into the Marquette on time. That will take you 7 minutes.
Traffic is sponsored by Harwood Place Senior Living.
Learn more about Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing options at our May 10th open house. To RSVP or to schedule a tour, visit harwoodplace.org.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny today, a high of 58. Tonight, less clouds and a low of 38. Now for your Thursday, sunny tomorrow, a high of 67 inland. There's a chance for rain late Thursday. Friday, a chance for a shower, otherwise just partly sunny and a high of 67 inland. Saturday, sunny, high of 68. Sunday, cloudy, chance for rain again and a high of 63 degrees. Right now, in Madison, it's 47, Green Bay 45, Waukesha 44, and in Milwaukee 44 degrees. I'm Eric Bilstad, Side and Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:06.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
Good morning. Welcome. Thanks for listening. Thanks for finding us. All of your media choices, you've discovered us on the air. 620 WTMJ on our stream, websites, wherever you get podcasts, all good, all the time. I always tell people the easiest way to find, just Google a show. Takes you all kinds of great links. Hopefully none of them obscene. Because you never know when you Google something what's going to show up. Hopefully not. If you haven't voted already, and you can vote on Twitter, or the Twit as I call it, 855-616-1620. If you're not on the Twit, you can tell me what you think. It's the first Wednesday of May, which means it's Great American Grump Out Day. Now, it's not what you think it is. It's not a chance to complain. It's the chance to take something and make a positive out of it. But I just asked the question, tweaking everybody a little tongue-in-cheek in there. Apparently, there were some grumps on the old National Bank Talk and Text line. I've tried to answer most of them. Look, a lot of what I do, especially when I'm talking about politics, is tongue-in-cheek because, if anything, it's laughable. What we accept as behavior of our elected officials. I called them a bunch of whiny drama queens yesterday. Congressmen, congresswomen, senators. It's like all they do is complain, point fingers. That's not what you're there for. You're there to do work. So I gave you a few choices on the poll. What do you find the most annoying? Politics, all of it. 51% of you say that's what your thing. Winter, weather, and spring, not a fan, 20%. Loud, angry know-it-alls. Ooh, we have a lot of those in Wisconsin. 27.8%. Lots of those folks in Wisconsin. And, by the way, before we get to our media topic, that has contributed to a loud, angry, obnoxious, overly aggressive consumer of that noise, which is why you see the social media nonsense you see. That's why you see the finger pointing that you see. It's why people panic when they have to put a mask on in a pandemic. All of that stuff generated by decades of noise, political and otherwise. All right, topic at hand. I mentioned this during the run-up to the top of the hour news there. So a new AP, Associated Press National Research Center for Public Affairs. New poll. Here's the headline for me. Nearly 3/4 of U.S. adults say the news media is increasing political polarization in this country, and just under half say they have little to no trust in the media's ability to report news fairly and accurately. 3/4 of adults. And you may not trust polls. I think they're not wrong. I think they're right on. Now, why is that? Logical next question. Because we've dumbed down media, right? We've dumbed down what used to be news reporting. We've dumbed down news networks where it's more commentary than the actual delivery of hard facts about things that are happening in our world. There's still places you can find that. But you got to look hard. You got to look deep. Add in advocacy journalism, which is another problem. Journalists have decided there aren't two sides on this. My side, which I'm writing about, is the only side. Therefore, I'm going to advocate for that position, even though most things have two ways, at least two ways of looking at them. Not everything. There's no argument that Hitler was a great human being. That would be 100% no, 0% yes. No argument. Now, that's an extreme example. I get that. What I'm really curious about, though, 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. 855-616-1620. Are we going to put up with this? Is this what we want our media for? We had this amazing story, Fox News Network. And to be honest, they got caught. Other networks, MSNBC, they were doing the same thing on the left for years. Advocating for a candidate, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Democrats, liberalism. Now, they didn't get caught lying or texting about it. And the only reason we know this is because there was a suit by Dominion Voting Systems against Fox News Network, the first of many lawsuits, by the way, which may actually get us to the point that I want to talk about is where we go next. But that ability to see and hear what was actually being said real time about the things that were being put and pushed on a news network, news in air quotes, Fox News Network, illuminated what I think a lot of us already knew, that some things that are being said on TV under the banner of news, they would like to say news/commentary, are dangerous and wrong. So while I will admit that the national media, more so than local media, are responsible for much of this exaggeration, misinformation, dangerous escalation of anger, hate, in some cases violence, we have a responsibility, we being us, the consumers of all of that, to actually be better consumers. I've talked about this with the rise of squawk radio. Sitting in your car or your place of work nodding to someone who thinks like you do politically has to be the biggest waste of time I've ever heard of. Cheerleading for politics. In the case of our country, some people cheerleading for bad news, whatever administration is in power, whether it was Trump previously or Biden now, because it gives them, their party, a better chance to win the next election. That's dangerous and wrong and dumb. 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talk and text line. Who do you blame? Is it the media? Give me some specifics. And probably more importantly, how do we get that back? Given the things I talked about, advocacy journalism, reporters not being unbiased or as close to unbiased as they should be. Commentary taking over the news divisions of major news networks in this country. Still protected locally. I would argue that local stations, local broadcast affiliates still do a pretty good job. I'll even make the argument about the local paper, which in Milwaukee, the paper of record is the Journal-Sentinel. Some people can't seem to say that, but the Journal-Sentinel. Reporters trying to get the word out. Are they perfect? No, not close. But I always ask this question when we're talking about newspapers. The written word, local journalists. If they go away, who are you going to trust? You going to trust Fox, MSNBC, an elected official? My goodness. You want to see a line of BS? Read a press release from a local or state elected official. Not much reality in there. Your comments after this on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday afternoon at 1. At Creative Planning, our advisors will build a financial plan that's custom tailored for you. It will include your investments, insurance, estate plan, taxes, and other personalized elements. Let Creative Planning show you a richer way to wealth. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
The deeper the hole, the more damage you're going to cause, especially if you're driving around with low tire pressure.
We're talking about potholes, and if you're not careful, they'll spring up out of nowhere and bite you right in the keister.
We've fixed broken ball joints, broken control arms, blown struts, damaged wheel alignments.
You name it, we've fixed it. That wheel alignment is an adjustment of your suspension, which is a system that connects your car to its wheels.
And when your alignment's off, you get uneven, premature tire wear, and we have a fix for that too.
If a pothole has bitten you where it hurts, come to Richlands for a professional evaluation by one of our ASE certified technicians.
And at the very least, we'll make sure you have the right amount of air pressure in your tires.
And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
Do It For Service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Tune in tomorrow, 11:08 to be exact. That's what Steve said. Every Thursday, chance to win a $30 Mind Chef gift card. Great locally owned, family-owned restaurant, 46 years in business. Every Thursday, of course, buy one pizza, second pizza free. How cool is that? Their pizza's amazing. Matter of fact, listener Jack sent me an email last week. Was traveling down from the UP, stopped at the Mind Chef location in Highway 41, Oshkosh. Said he had one of the best burgers he's ever had in his life. And Jack's an eater. Jack, just kidding. Jack loves to eat like I do. So check it out tomorrow, 11:08, the Mind Chef restaurant, located, of course, in beautiful downtown Hartford. And as I said, on Highway 41 in Oshkosh. We'll do that about 11:08. Chance winning $30 Mind Chef gift card. Love Mind Chef. You should too. All right. So I love the text line. One of the differences, there's many differences between this show and other shows, but texter says this. So I made the point about sitting in the car and nodding your head. So, Steve, I'm sitting in my car right now, and am I wasting my time nodding my head as I listen to you? And I answered this. I texted back, no, because I don't deliver the party talking points and the political BS. one of the largest differences between this show and many others. I don't just say it because I'm angry about the text. I say it because I mean it. I've been around politics enough. I hear what politicians say. We have enough people in the political BS business. Most of talk radio in this country is involved in that every day. I'm not saying it doesn't sell. There's a market for people all standing together with their heads nodding in agreement. Yeah, there's a big market for that. I would rather get to some work, real action plans, real delivery on the people's work. That's kind of my goal. But I appreciate the text. Steve, a few weeks ago, you said people need to be lectured all while you were doing a lecturing. What's the difference? I have a radio show. Unfortunately, for some people, I'm going to talk. You're welcome to join our conversation, as you sometimes do, Sam, because you always have something to say. And unlike other shows, I encourage people who disagree. That's a healthy, robust conversation. Civilly, of course. Honest, decent discourse. There's a serious lack of that. Squawk radio, talking heads on national TV, social media. Everybody's got snark. Everybody's an expert. Who do you blame? Is it the media? Well, take some of the blame. Certainly. I gave you some examples. Zach joins us from Milwaukee. Hi, Zach. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Sure.
Yeah, you got to blame the media a little bit. And I was telling your producer that it's just sickening when you get these guys, that it could be the greatest bill ever that would help, the United States, prosper for years. But, if it's this party's president that's going to sign the bill, the other party doesn't want it passed, or, and it's not a win for the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. It should just be a win for the United States, but we're not at that anymore. And the one example I can give about people doing the exact same thing, complaining about the other party, was, if you remember, at the end of the Obama administration, a Supreme Court justice should have been announced. But the Republican Party dragged their heels and it couldn't get done because they said, well, he might be leaving, so it's not really fair, blah, 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 blah. Well, then during the last election, Trump, the Republican parties, they made it the fastest ever a Supreme Court justice that got appointed, because they're like, well, we might lose this election, when it was so close to an election that it's the exact same thing.
It's the greatest example. Yeah,
quickly.
Zach, it's the greatest example of political BS you could find. It's exactly the same thing done differently because of a different person in office. Thanks for the call, Zach. I couldn't say it any better. That's political BS. But that's the reality we're living in. So if your party says it, your elected official says it, must be true. The other side's evil. And Zach's other point was also brilliant. Thanks for the call, Zach, because we are more concerned about getting a win politically than actually producing legislation before that bills, either in the State House or in Congress, that fix things. We have to come up with it. We being those parties. If they don't come up with it, their idea is ridiculous, to the point of absurdity, because often parties change, leadership changes, same idea comes forward, now it's put forward by the other party, we're all in. But the bottom line for me is, whatever the media does, whatever elected officials do, we decide how we are going to react to that. And unfortunately, lazy voting, devoid of actually any intellectual analysis of what works and what doesn't, are just shunned to the point where we just blindly walk in there and, oh, where's the R, where's the D? On both sides. To me, the brave voters, independent voters, they don't put up with nonsense. And the encouraging thing for me, if there's any encouraging development, is, as I told you last week, 49% of voters now identify as independent. It used to be nearly all the voters were either Democrat or Republican. That's changed. They now have less than 25% each. Why do you think that is? Slowly, all the absurdity, all the nonsense, the name calling. I played an example earlier from Representative Mark Bourne, who was probably a nice guy. Don't know him. Served in law enforcement. I give him kudos just for that. But you chose to use a joint finance meeting to blow up the other side. Why? What do you gain by that? What's the value add other than looking less than what I think an elected official should look like? Put it that way. What's the point? There's too much of that. Every Republican idea is not brilliant. Every Democrat idea is not brilliant. And they say dumb things on both sides all the time. From the 262, both sides have to do it because if they don't, the other side will. We're not playing that game here. At some point, somebody says enough. Jack from Caledonia. Welcome to the show, Jack. Happy Wednesday.
It is a great Wednesday, and happy May Day to everybody.
Yes.
My is with the news the last maybe 5, 6 years, maybe even longer, maybe 10 years. The disingenuous reporting by, and you can go through all the stations, MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, anybody on cable news seem to have an agenda that they're pushing. Okay. For my big thing, it was, the Russian collusion hoax and the Hunter Biden laptop, where MSNBC just refused to even report it. Okay. And instead of these people, and I mean the news anchors, doing some due diligence and actually doing some investigation on it, they all just followed what their network told them to say. And I just think that's, they to me, they look like the lady in China who's given the daily report.
Yeah, it's
this
just
is what I'm going to say, and if I don't, my family may be disappeared.
It's just a waste of time to listen to it. And thanks for the call, Jack. What is the point of that? Other than have a bunch of head nodders saying, oh, yeah, there's nothing to see here with Hunter Biden. We'll find out. There's going to be an investigation, folks. We'll find out about Hunter Biden. And if a media ignored that story, shame on the media. And vice versa with Trump. Trump's facing multiple indictments. It sounds more and more like that's going to happen. And yet, I see yesterday, regardless of any of that, serious charges, election interference, whatever role the president played in January 6th. And I don't want to get into the January 6th conversation because it evolves quickly. I just want to know what happened. But 75% apparently of Republicans, they don't care. They're still going to vote for Trump. And I have told you over and over again, this is an opinion right here, my opinion. I've been pretty accurate on elections. Again, I tell you what I think is going to happen, not what I want to happen necessarily. What I think is going to happen. Too many broadcasters get into the want to happen business. Trump, this seems like Trump Biden to me over and over again, regardless of any of the other stuff. That's what we're going to put up with. That may be our choice. And whatever you want to say about Biden's inefficiencies in office or his inability to, frankly, stay awake and stay coherent, how much of that is real? I have no clue. There's no real reporting on it. Is he just old? Yeah, he's old. That's a fact. Is there a cognitive decline? I don't know because you're not digging into that story. I mean, if you would have told me on the other side now, I'm going back and forth because I think it's important to understand. There are stories on both sides. A president is being accused of rape today in a courtroom in America, former president. He's under investigation in the state of Georgia for election interference, making a phone call, as he says, a perfectly good phone call, which was not so perfect, and a phone call a president shouldn't make. And whatever happens in the Department of Justice, whether it's classified documents, the use of those classified documents, not the holding on to them, but the use of them. Oh, by the way, a role in January 6th. All of that matters. Quick break.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Oh, so you think you've got hops? Let's leave the handling of the hops to us.
Leaping
The Brewers are out in Colorado to take on the Rockies tonight.
Reaches up and makes a catch. Oh, Joey Weimer added to the highlight reel.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 7:05. Presented by American Family Insurance. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert, back to report even more home buyers paid over the asking price last month, rising to 50% in the 5-county metro area. 3 out of 10 paid $10,000 or more above that list price. The good news is appraised values are generally keeping up with the over-asking offers. Still, the most powerful thing a buyer can do to make their offer the most attractive in a multiple offer situation is to give the seller some appraisal wiggle room. Telling the seller you're willing to pay over the asking price, even if the house appraises lower, sounds scary because most buyers think they have to fill that potential gap with more down payment. But in the vast majority of cases, AccuNet is showing home buyers how they can offer appraisal wiggle room without bringing a nickel more to closing. Appraisal wiggle room is like a good card trick. You need to see it to believe it. So if you're home shopping with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, upgrade today to an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry. Ridgetop Exteriors is Wisconsin's #1 choice for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. We are the trusted local experts who live and work in the areas we serve, which means we're helping friends and neighbors too. On top of that, Ridgetop Exteriors offers the most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
Make 2023 your year with a new career at John Deere Horicon Works. Their new starting wage is over $23 to $25 per hour, plus an annual John Deere profit sharing bonus and wage increase. And nothing beats the new benefits, including health insurance for your entire family with no premiums. Get a fresh start with the pay and benefits you deserve at John Deere Horicon Works. Apply now at deere.com/Horicon.
Hey all of you jokesters, this is Max and we're back with another joke of the week. What do lawyers wear to the courtroom? Lawsuits! Ha ha! I cracked myself up. Back to Steve's Graffiti Show.
Oh, you crack us up as well, young Max, my grandson, my 7-year-old grandson. Entertainer, sports superstar, smart kid all around. All right, I'm late for news. We're going to do something fun in the next half hour. Well, I think it's fun. It has to do with the writer's strike and late-night comedy shows. So if that piques your interest, you can join us after the news. It's 10:31 from our Breaking News Center. First time ever in person, Wyatt Barmore Pooley.
Thanks, Steve. A man was shot and killed by somebody in another vehicle on Fond du Lac Freeway this morning, according to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office responding to the 76th Street off-ramp, finding one man who had died from a gunshot wound. There was a woman in the car as well. She wasn't injured. The Sheriff's Office says initial investigations reveals that that man was shot by somebody who was driving in another vehicle at the time. Local governments across Wisconsin would see at least a 10% increase in funding under a Republican plan released on Tuesday. The package would allow increase funding known as shared revenue to cities, towns, and villages by $227 million overall. It would also allow the city of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County to raise a sales tax if that is approved by voters. And railroad tracks damaged after a train derailment in western Wisconsin along the Mississippi River have been repaired. The Federal Rail Administration is investigating the crash. Randall Cobb reuniting with his bud Aaron Rodgers, the wide receiver signing a one-year deal with the New York Jets. And now it is time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And it looks like the good news for the NASDAQ, less so for the Dow and S&P. The NASDAQ is up a little over 17.5 points. The S&P is down, but only just 2 points. The Dow is down 56. Get on track with investment and retirement planning. Visit AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic, and it looks like we've got a disabled vehicle reported on the ramp from 4394 southbound onto 4143 894 westbound. This is at the Mitchell interchange, and that is off on the right shoulder. Looks like we're not seeing any major delays, though, and any other accidents reported. As we said, though, the Fond du Lac Freeway, that 76th Street off-ramp is closed right now for the Sheriff's Office investigation.
Traffic is sponsored by the amazing Mineshaft Restaurant in downtown Hartford.
The successful Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford is hiring an experienced bar manager with income upwards of $60,000 a year and always busy. Inquire today, start next week.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny skies today, a high of 53 at the lake, 58 degrees inland. Tonight, decreasing clouds, a low of 38. Tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny, a chance for some showers later in the day, a high of 58. Friday, partly sunny, again a chance for some showers, a high of 60. Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 60. And on Sunday, we'll have mostly cloudy skies and a chance for showers, a high of 63. Right now in downtown Milwaukee, it is 44 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
Here's to soaking up surf culture on Wisconsin's fresh coast. Here's to beaches designed for people of all abilities. To sand between your toes and happiness in your heart. Here's to trading skylines for endless Wisconsin shorelines. And to ending each day with smiles all around. Here's to those who Wisconsin. Start your summer getaway at travelwisconsin.com.
Hey, this is Steve Scafidi for Advent. I had some snoring issues that kept my wife up at night. That led to poor sleep and a lot of tired mornings on the radio, and nobody wants that, trust me. But it's simply, my nose wasn't working the way it should. I decided to go to Advent for a quick 30-minute visit, one of their great facilities, talk to a bunch of their doctors. They really put me at ease. After a really simple sleep study at home, in my own bed, they determined the root cause of my problem had to do with my sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle, so I went to see Advent. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing well, and my wife and I are both back to sleeping through the whole night. The best sleep we've ever had, that could be you. If you struggle with restless nights like I did, take the time to see how Advent can help. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your life and your nights a whole lot better, go to AdventKnows.com, schedule an appointment today. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
Get ready to reel in the big one with help from Fleet Farm. Come check out our huge selection of fishing gear, from rods and reels to lures and bait. Choose from over 10,000 lures and find Fleet Farm exclusive colors. Plus, going on now, save on Berkley 2 and 3-inch power grubs. Get 2 for $5. Get everything for your next fishing trip in one stop at Fleet Farm, your fishing headquarters.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Thanks for taking the time to listen. I've been trying to answer as many texts as I can. A lot of people have good questions today, and some of them are on point to some of the things we're talking about. Some are just more general. So I had an exchange. I'll get to the Writers Guild of America strike in a second, and what I think is kind of a silly development when it comes to the on-air stuff that you see on the networks at a time when they probably should up their game. Not that I diminish the talking points of the writers. I'm sure there's some legitimate issues there. They're not making the money that the CEOs are making. We all get that. But I got this text, and now my mouse doesn't want to work because I want to talk about it. Where is my mouse at? Here we go. So I wanted to – here's the question. And it's basically – I'm going to paraphrase it because it's a long text. And you can write long texts if you want. I have limited time in the breaks to read them. But it has to do with the target of my attacks. The texter, Gail, says, you seem to go after Republicans. Well, there's a reason for that, Gail. I identify as a Republican. I want the party to be better. I want the party to start winning elections in the state of Wisconsin with candidates that actually embrace what most Republicans, real Republicans, not crazy Republicans, think are important. I live in a state where Republicans have a lot of power. They lead the Assembly. They lead the Senate. For that matter, they have a lot of control over the governor, approaching veto-proof majorities, having the Senate close in the Assembly. So my goal is to strike at the individuals who are not doing what I think they should be doing on, in my case, my side of the political aisle. Doesn't mean I avoid stories. And I mentioned in my response to Gail, keep in mind when you say, oh, you're not conservative enough. I'm the guy who advocates for stronger law enforcement, both in schools and on our streets, all the time. I do a whole month on Salute to Service, which is May, which is the month we are currently in. And by the way, we're going to play a piece from one of last year's honorees a little bit later in the show. Keep in mind, I'm the guy who says we should return to basics in education, getting the nonsense out of our schools, all the social justice issues that we spend far too much time talking about. I'm the guy who says we should get back to basics. Those are very strongly held conservative beliefs. Here's what I identify as the problem, Gail, and I'm not picking on you. You're a loyal listener and fan of the show, and I appreciate that. And your texts are always smart and on point, so I applaud you for that. We have choices to make. We can have talkers blow sunshine up your political you-know-whats, or we can actually dig deeper on these topics. Case in point, my comments earlier about State Representative Mark Bourne. Never met him. He's got a law enforcement background, immediate respect for that. Kudos. But he's a state rep now. And like Mark, like the state rep, I would like smaller governments. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We are being led down a road of hyper-political nonsense because of comments like he made. It's not Democrats who just love weed. Trust me, there's a lot of Republicans. The numbers are astounding in the state. I'm not smoking weed whether it's legal or not. That's my individual point of view. But I also understand there's other points of view out there. And when you see issues, here's another, when you see issues like marijuana, it's not hard to understand where the public's going. State after state, country after country. This is not hard. So when you hear me go after conservatives or Republicans, I'm coming from a perspective of that's how I generally vote. I can't get any more honest than that. It doesn't mean I'm going to sugarcoat. We've got enough of that. Enough you-know-what kissers to go around, making a heck of a lot of money kissing those you-know-whats. I don't care about that. If there's a goal of this show, and if there's a goal of this station, if there's a goal of any broadcaster who is in news talk, it should be to tell a story that's entertaining, engaging, and occasionally educational. That's the goal. Always going to be on this show. So, Gail, thanks for that comment. I appreciate it. And if you want to respond, I gave you a couple responses in text format. More than happy to. Hopefully, I've addressed that concern that you had. I've heard it before. I'm not concerned with that. The perception does not matter to me. And I ask Gail simply, how do you vote? How do you determine one's political leanings? How you vote? How they vote? Or how they approach topics on a talk radio show? Two vastly different things. All right, enough of that. Writers Guild of America, on strike. So, whenever you're talking about collective bargaining issues, it seems a lot of this is related to pay and benefits. I don't really want to get into that, but there's an interesting piece of this that I find fascinating. So many of the shows now are on hiatus. Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Colbert. And I'm thinking to myself, I said to myself, no, I didn't say that. I said Steve. You can't do a comedy show without writers? I know you have a monologue, so skip the monologue and do the show. You're trotting out singers and famous people, actors. So instead of, and you can show sympathy, you can, and as a couple of these people are, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, they're paying their writers during this strike. Knock yourself out. If you want to do that, go ahead. You're making millions of dollars. No one cares. But if you really care about the watchers of your show, the listeners in some cases, you can't, brilliant comedians that you are, you can't come up with a show that doesn't have to be written down on a piece of paper for you? Not to pat my own back, but I do 3 hours. I have about 6 headlines written typed on one piece of paper. If you're watching on the thing, it looks like this on the stream. That's it. But you're these brilliant, highly paid, successful comedians and actors, and you can't come up with something refreshing and interesting and new. Oh, by the way, if you're so passionate about this Writers Guild story, you could actually talk about it as part of your live program. Which leads me to this question. How brilliant are you? That you have to have everything written down for you. Seems silly to me. Quick break.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
From big tailgate parties to cozy dinners for two, the freshest ideas start with a stop at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 12.5-ounce sauce or 16 to 20-ounce pasta, selected varieties, Rana pasta or pesto sauce, $6.49. 16.2 to 22.5-ounce package, Jose Ole taquitos or mini tacos, $4.99. 6 to 12-count box, Outshine fruit bars, $3.99. 10 to 12-count package or 10 to 12-ounce bag, Green Mountain or McCafe coffee, $7.99.
Hey, why'd you throw my glass across the room?
I have to keep practicing.
The vase from Aunt Sophie?
I'm warming up in case I get to take the mound at American Family Field. Read this.
Win the ultimate baseball fan experience at Century Foods?
You either get to throw out the first pitch, hold the finish line for the famous racing sausages, or be on the field during batting practice. My new TV!
Just doing a little batting practice of my own.
The ultimate baseball fan experience from Century Foods. Return the entry form found in the weekly ad to any Century by July 26th.
I want to talk about annuities and variable life insurance policies. And I'm going to come right out and say that I've never been a fan of either. In fact, in over 30 years, I have rarely recommended annuities to clients. And in that same time, I've never recommended a variable life insurance policy. Now, it's always a matter of opinion, and there are two sides to every story. I just want to make sure that you've heard both sides for both options. So if you're looking at those types of products, give us a call, because it's prudent to hear all sides. At the very least, we can give you the pros and cons and help you make a good decision. I'm Jim Cantrell with Financial Strategies, Inc., a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot. There are over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Live life to the fullest. Hey, you hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. QC Kinetics gives people all around Milwaukee their quality of life by providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain, and not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. So where is your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, shoulders, maybe your back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. No surgery, no downtime, no steroids or harmful drugs. And patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Well, finally being able to exercise or walk the dog, maybe enjoying time with the family, or just working your job. Whatever it is, don't wait another day. Call QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Give them a call. 414-285-3474.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Maybe this one will align with the conservatives out there. I'm on your side on this one. This notion, this idea put forth by people as prominent as the President of the United States and green energy advocates and the like, about these bans on things we use, well, in some states all year round, in this part of the world, about 6 months, 5 months of the year, gas leaf blowers and lawnmowers. I was reading a opinion piece in USA Today written by Trevor Hughes, and basically the headline is, gas leaf blowers and lawnmowers are shockingly bad for the planet. Bans are beginning to spread. Like cheerleading for the ban. Keep your dirty, stinky paws off my gas lawnmower.
Come on, man.
If you want to use an electric one, battery, knock yourself out. I don't want to. You know, there's so many things we could be worried about. And now we're going to like point fingers at people. Look, do you see that guy in the neighborhood? He's actually using a gas. Oh my God, is he evil? We should boycott that guy, that family. They're using a gas-powered lawnmower. What is wrong with you? There are options. We all have options, right? Most of us, we care about the environment. I don't litter. If you're someone that litters, don't do it. You look like an idiot. You make a mess. We have to pick up after you. Don't do it. Littering is banned. It still happens. So if your idea is to ban these things, I know you go after the sales, which, oh, by the way, hurts the economy. The companies that produce engines, including some right here in Wisconsin, they might have a word to say. So you're going to blow up that company, shareholders, employees, and their product because you want people to stop using these things. It doesn't mean you can't do all of these things. You want to plug in your lawnmower and use if you got a small lot, go ahead, knock yourself out. I want the power and convenience of gas. That's me. Still have a gas-powered automobile and a truck, F-150. To get the best gas mileage? No. I like it. Why is this difficult for some people? Why do we always have to force everybody? And frankly, what we're doing here in this country is 10 times better than what's happening in countries like India, Brazil, China, Russia. Where's their concern? We can't clean up the world. We can do our own little piece, and I think a lot of people have stepped up. I recycle. I throw my plastic bottles in a little bag in my kitchen in the little container. I haul them out to the recycling wagon. But that's not good enough for some people. This is one of my complaints with all of this stuff. Whether you are completely green or to hell with all of it on the right, one of those people, which is, again, not appropriate. Don't be a litterer. Don't spill gas down in a river or waterway. Don't be that person either. But most of us are just trying to live our lives, get our work done, keep our lawns cut. If we make a conscious decision to take the next step, whether that's battery, plug-in, whatever it is, we'll do it. But you hammering us over the head with this over and over and over again, my goodness. I got this text from, I got to read it because it's great. As a professional groundskeeper, they can take my leaf blower away when they pry from my cold, dead hands. Thank you, Charlton Heston. Right? We can keep pitting against each other all the time. But why? What are we gaining by that? As the texter said, Old National Bank talking text line, India and China pouring smoke out of their factories. Why don't you go after them? You know what we do? We give them money. Why don't you hold on to some of that money, keep it in the States? Then we could do more of the things that you think are important when it comes to green energy. You're handing over dollars to countries that are horrible polluters under the guise of what? Being a good global citizen? How's that working? Some states are also banning gas cars. Why? I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. It's sort of the same argument. Great ideas win the day. I always used to tell this to people that I worked with in government. If you have a great idea, it often will win the day. It'll convince people. If what you're saying when it comes to green and the environmental considerations are great arguments, they will win the day. They will change minds. They will be the norm. They will be the way we do things in the future. Nothing happens overnight. And 20, 30 years from now, yes, perhaps we'll be all in. We will see. I still haven't driven a all-electric F-150. Still want to do that. Battery. Want to see what it's like. I want to see what it's like. Maybe I'll like it. Maybe I won't. But the average vehicle costs $48,000 right now. Average vehicle. All vehicles, $48,000, new. You start throwing more cost in for the green alternatives, you're adding tens of thousands of dollars of cost in an economy, by the way. We're already taxed. People aren't saving. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Great ideas win the day. This may be a great idea, but maybe today is not the day. Quick break.
Some people are really stupid. Did you ever notice that? How many really stupid people you run into during the day?
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
I got no FOMO for your show, Mo.
See the world from his perspective.
The chutzpah on this guy to bring ribs onto the plane and then eat them. I can't think of anything worse.
On Wisconsin's Morning News. Every day at 7:50.
I like a little mayo on the broth.
Oh,
it's actually bad.
What are you, French?
Mark Tauscher on Wisconsin's Morning News. Presented by your Wisconsin Chevy dealers. Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Differentiation Officer Brian Wickert reminding home shoppers that working with AccuNet is different and better than working with your bank. Most bank pre-approvals state they've only verified the potential home buyer's credit, but not their income or money for down payment. To us, that's just crazy. AccuNet's rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval tells the seller we've checked out all three aspects of your financial health, and that we'll pay $2,000 if our pre-approval is faulty. Banks don't do that, but they do have a lot of overhead with all their vice presidents and fancy branches. We keep overhead low, which means lower rates and closing costs that are typically $1,000 to $3,000 lower than banks. Most importantly, our loan consultants can show you and your agent how to improve your financing and appraisal contingencies so your offer has the best chance of winning in a multiple offer situation. Hey, don't settle for a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval. Click on the blue button today for your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
Siding Unlimited named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 3-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
It will be an evening of nonstop laughter with the Latin Kings of Comedy, featuring Paul Rodriguez.
The only good thing about getting old is that now I can sit and watch television, and I know what all those pharmaceuticals are for.
For one night only, Friday, May 5th, 8 p.m. at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
If you're going to get married, guys, go home and see her mother. Get a good look at the future. And you ladies go see his father. Find out where that belt is going to be.
Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. It's the Latin Kings of Comedy, featuring Paul Rodriguez. Friday, May 5th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Must be 21 to attend show.
If you were offered a guaranteed cash prize, would you take the offer or would you risk it to possibly win more? It's Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin Dells Take It or Leave It, where on May 27th, you could be chosen to play the Take It or Leave It game, where you could be one of several participants to have the opportunity to pick a case containing up to $100,000 in cash. It's the Take It or Leave It game, May 27th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
See Ho Chunk Gaming representative for more details.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show.
Thanks for saying. Now I'm too conservative. Oh, my God. I think I'm in the wheelhouse, folks. I think I'm in the right spot. Look, much of what I do is tongue-in-cheek, but I get serious at times, and I encourage you to, if you're angry about something, well, then you can shoot me a text or call. Calls are welcome. I will not beat you up. I won't yell at you. It's not what I do. I did get into a little conversation on the Twitter with a loyal fan of the show, Katie, and she took issue with me on the writer's strike and its impact on the comedy shows. Because I said, basically, show up, do a different show. So she said, Katie did, it's encouraging to see that many of the hosts and actors are making statements standing in support of the writers. Is it a PR stunt? Maybe, but maybe it's genuine. Either way, I'm glad they're at least speaking credit where credit is due. And I just responded saying, look, maybe have fun with it. If you're an advocate for the writers, talk about it on the show. it is illuminating to me that many of these people who are comedic geniuses, supposedly, can't do a show where everything's not written down for them on cue cards. Just a thought. All right. We do this every Wednesday. This is one of my favorite hours of the week. Ask Steve anything, any questions, fair game, any topic, any conversation. I imagine that I've inspired some questions on today's program because there's been a lot of back and forth, which I love. And thanks for making the day fun. Always appreciate that. Ask Steve anything, 855-616-1620. Any question, politics, sports, culture, entertainment, gas-powered lawnmowers, whatever it is. That's up next after the news on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Your first time biking to work. Your new helmet? Secure. Your bike? Road ready. You got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So even if down the road that bike needs a little maintenance, at least your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. Your family, your memories, our priority. Church and Chapel Funeral Homes. There's one near you.
Ready to downsize and move from your longtime home? Call Bruce's team today. Their senior real estate specialists will guide you every step of the way. Go from overwhelmed to I can do this. 262-242-6177. Bruce'sTeam.com.
You can't beat Bernhardt.
Now open in New Berlin. Your locally owned hometown station gives you the news and what it means to you. Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it is 44 degrees today, rain and snow showers. No, that's incorrect. Today, we will have mostly sunny skies, a high of 53. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. A man was shot and killed by someone in another vehicle on Fond du Lac Freeway this morning, according to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, MCSO, responding to the 76th Street off-ramp, and they found one man who died from a gunshot wound. There was a woman in the car as well. She was not injured. That Fond du Lac Freeway and the 76th Street off-ramp both closed right now as the investigation continues. Officials from the Sheriff's Office say that there's not a ton that could be said right now, but we will bring you any new details as we learn them. Partisan bickering during a joint finance committee hearing as the GOP majority cut more than 500 items of Governor Evers' budget plan. WISC TV's Will Keneally has more from the meeting.
Some of the fastest growing communities in America are putting huge amounts of resources into housing and infrastructure to attract and retain young people.
That was the Democratic push. If you build it, they will come. Invest in some of those policies that Republicans want to strip out and attract younger workers to an aging Wisconsin population. Republicans weren't buying it.
When the solutions, apparently, from the Dems are more government, more spending, smoke more weed, yeah, our approaches are going to be different.
Meanwhile, the state's local governments would see at least a 10% increase in funding under a wide-ranging Republican plan released officially on Tuesday. That package would increase funding known as shared revenue to cities, counties, towns, and villages by $227 million overall. Democrats have been skeptical about the provisions included in the proposal, including requiring Milwaukee to get voter approval to raise their sales tax to pay for its underfunded pension system. Milwaukee Public Schools must grapple with a 20% budget cut as federal COVID relief money ends, but a senior fellow at Marquette University Law School, Alan Boris, tells WTMJ, a drop in enrollment and teacher vacancies are the real problem facing the district.
I sometimes say MPS is a master of the use of Band-Aids and Scotch tape, because that's what they have to do many days, is move teachers from one room to another, have administrators cover classes, substitutes. They have to keep their act together every day, and it isn't easy.
MPS's enrollment drops by at least 1,000 students each year. Only half of Milwaukee County students are educated in an MPS school. The rest attend charter schools, private schools, or public schools in other counties via open enrollment. Sports, traffic, and weather coming up next. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:03.
Quality furniture that lasts. The good stuff.
And because it's good quality furniture, it won't be the least expensive. But if you compare our caliber of furniture and our prices to the other higher-end furniture stores throughout Greater Milwaukee, you'll find that Ken Michaels Furniture is truly priced at a value. It's the kind of furniture you won't regret buying. The good stuff at good prices. Furniture for life at Ken Michaels Furniture. In Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee, browse our selection at kenmichaelsfurniture.com. We've been doing this for quite some time, so we know the value of solid wood furniture. But we found that using solid hardwood laminates actually make for sturdier, more versatile furniture frames. Frames on the Ken Michaels Furniture line are cross-grained, so weak spots like wood knots are eliminated. And unlike natural wood frames, ours don't expand and contract. So they're more durable, stronger, and of course, they last longer. Furniture for life at Ken Michaels Furniture Stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Attention business owners. Stop throwing your hard-earned money away on rent. Imagine owning your own building and saving thousands every year. Sound impossible? Not if you use General Steel. General Steel can help you save thousands by owning your own custom-designed building. Just call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to see how much money you can save with General Steel. Our buildings come with a 50-year warranty, and thousands of companies, from Fortune 500 corporations to startups, have trusted the General with their building needs.
If you need to expand or start a new business, you really need General Steel.
I'm very impressed with General Steel. Everyone's been extremely helpful. I'd recommend General Steel to anyone looking to build a steel building.
Stop wasting money on rent. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-74-STEEL to find out about all our popular quick construction kits, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building. Just call 888-747-8335 now. That's 888-74-STEEL.
The Green Bay Packers will have a new starting quarterback in 2023 and 2024 as the team has reportedly agreed to terms on a new deal for Jordan Love. According to ESPN, it is a one-year extension worth $22.5 million that will pay him through 2024. Over to the Diamond, where the Milwaukee Brewers lose Game 1 of 3 to the Colorado Rockies out west by a final score of 3-2. The Brewers' offense mustered up 8 hits on Rocky starter Ryan Felter, but just could not capitalize in key moments of the game. On the flip side, Freddie Peralta had a strong game, went 6 innings of work, striking out 10 and allowing only 2 earned runs. The Brewers will look to bounce back tonight with Eric Lauer on the mound. That first pitch is scheduled for 7:40. You can tune in right here on WTMJ, your home of the Milwaukee Brewers, beginning at 7:05. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic, and it looks like everything is pretty good. No major slowdowns or delays. The only thing is that because of that investigation into the shooting on the Fond du Lac Freeway, up by the 76th Street off-ramp, it's closed there. So definitely make sure to go other routes rather than the Fond du Lac Freeway. That is also Highway 145. That's pretty much everything that you need to know. No major accidents reported.
Traffic is sponsored by Annex Wealth Management. It's time to know the difference, and Annex Wealth Management is ready to help with investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary partner. AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny skies today, a high of 53 at the lake, 58 degrees inland, decreasing clouds tonight, a low of 38. Tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny, but there's a chance of showers later in the day, a high of 58 at the lakefront, but up to 67 degrees inland. Friday, partly sunny, chance for a shower, continuing to get warmer, a high of 60 at the lake, 67 inland. Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 60, and inland it will be 68. Sunday, mostly cloudy skies, chance for showers a little cooler, a high of 63. Right now in Madison, it's 49. In Green Bay, it's 48. In Waukesha, it's 47. And in Milwaukee, it is 45 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:07.
Breaking down the biggest stories, talking about what really matters, and bringing you the biggest forum to let your voice be heard. Now, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at The Avenue, here's Steve Scafidi.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Wednesday show. I don't know what that was. I'm in a good mood today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's all the coffee I've...
That's going to be getting cut for a promo.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm doing the goofy voices like Vince now. Guy's got.
It must be something in the studio today.
It must be. Vince Vetrano does more bad impressions than Rich Little. Look it up.
A British accent for the whole market update.
I'm not good at impressions, so therefore I will not attempt them. But I don't know. It just struck me. This hour, most of this hour is Ask Steve Anything. Any question, fair game. Oh, by the way, if you missed our brilliant conversation with Sandy Max of the Wisconsin Afternoon News fame, she's got a trip going to England, the UK. Fantastic trip. All the cool places. We podcasted that interview, and you can get all the details, but you can find it at WTMJ.com. I mean, if I wasn't doing a listener trip to Tuscany, I would probably go on that trip just as a guest. It'd be fun. Having been born there and everything. All right, so let's start off. Ken from Greenfield, phone calls or text 855-616-1620, the Old National Bank talk and text line. Ken from Greenfield, thanks for the listen, Ken. Why do we have money to build an entirely new museum, but we don't have any money to fix the nationally famous domes? It's a great question. Because they want a new museum, and I'm not sure we want new domes. Because a lot of the money that will be building that new museum is private money, donations. There's some state money as well, local money. But I don't think we've come to the same realization as we have on the museum with the domes. I'm not sure what would work best. I'm not sure that spending, what is it, 60, 70, 80, $100 million to replace the domes is money well spent. To be honest, there was a building there before the domes. It was either there or somewhere else in Milwaukee County where it was sort of like a massive greenhouse complex. I'd rather see that. How about this idea? I saw some pictures the other day of our park system many years ago. And in all of the green spaces were these beautifully flowered, full bouquets of what I'm assuming are county-grown plants, perennials, annuals, just like gorgeous. Now there's no money for that. There's not the expertise for that anymore. Maybe that's where we should. Wouldn't you rather have the parks we have better maintained than spending 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 million on something new when maybe the new thing we don't need is the old thing we used to enjoy? Maybe that's it. Simple as that. Let's see. Question for Steve. Will you be making plans to view on April 8th, 2024, the longest duration, perhaps last total solar eclipse in the continental 48 in your lifetime? The next big one won't be until 2045. That's a ways away. I have talked about this before. I would, because I think I just have to go to like Illinois, right? I would consider taking a day off, maybe even doing a broadcast, like a broadcast hit on one of the shows or more than one show from the actual event. So I keep an open mind on this. I think that's something that I would do. So does that answer your question? I think it does. Boo, Steve, don't be a dome hater. I don't hate the domes. I actually chaperoned a high school dance there for, I think it was Divine Savior, Holy Angels when my wife was teaching there many years ago. And they should do more of that. Maybe that's how you monetize some of that. I'm sure it's probably a big disruption, and there's also costs associated with hosting big events like that, but they are tremendous. I mean, they are pretty cool, but you know, when pieces of the infrastructure are falling on the patrons' heads as they tour the beautiful domes, might not be a good idea. Rob asked this question from West Dallas. Steve, as you go to Vegas fairly regularly, well, 3 or 4 times a year, is that regular? I guess so. And politicians are always attempting to win. Is there a sports book for political outcomes? Have a great day. And if there isn't one, there should be. Robin, West Dallas. That's a great question. I don't know the answer. That's a stumper. I don't know if you can actually bet on political questions, outcomes. I'll Google it. We'll find out. Let's see. Steve, we all remember how Aaron looked the last couple of years playing in Green Bay, like he crawled out of a cave after 6 months. Wondering what your thoughts are with his new clean-cut appearance last night at the Knicks game. The dude has gone New York City. The hair is like, this is like, what would that be? Like 2012 Aaron Rodgers. Short hair. Then he was clean-shaven. He's pretty clean-shaven in the picture I'm looking at. Looks like, was it Alan Lazard with him? He's gone New York. If he's smart, he will be the next Joe Namath. Well, Joe Namath famously won a Super Bowl when they weren't predicted to win. You think Aaron Rodgers would love to win a Super Bowl with the Jets? Oh, yes, he would, because it proves to a lot of people that they were wrong about him. It's a great story. I would not be shocked if he maintains the clean cut thing, starts wearing like really sharp looking suits, dating the latest hot actress or the supermodel, showing up on everything Fallon, any show that's in New York.
Everything's new and exciting and fun. I'm just pinching myself a lot of days. Just I can't believe it's real sometimes. So it's been a dream. Definitely feel energized to be in the building.
Yeah, like that. His own words. Thank you, producer Brandon. Yes, he's energized. He's pinching himself. That seems a little old school, but whatever he says. Let's see. One more before the break. Ask Steve anything. Where is the state $7 billion surplus held? How much interest is gaining where it's held? How often does it compound? Those are really good questions. I'm not a financial analyst. It's held like all the other funds we have in the state. I'm assuming it's held in a safe place. Is it gaining interest? Well, I hope so. It's a good question, though. Maybe I'll Google that one during the break as well. Still time to get your questions in. 855-616-1620. The Old National Bank Talk and Text line on WTMJ.
You know, everything's new and different and exciting, and I'm just enjoying it, man. I really am.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
The Brewers Radio Network's Lane Grindle sees it all from the broadcast booth.
Down the right field line, this is up, and it is going to fly out of here.
But what's he like off the air?
It's 2023. It's the year of the cheesehead.
Lane Grindle joins Wisconsin's afternoon news every Monday during the Brewers 2023 campaign.
There'd be nothing better in my life than to be the brother of Lane Grindle.
I did not have a brother, so, John, we can make honorary brothers.
Right here on the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Oh, hello there.
Hi, I'm Sandy Max. That's London calling and Liverpool. Come with me on a special getaway called The Beatles and More, an England adventure. From Big Ben to the Beatles' hometown, we'll visit London landmarks and tour Liverpool. Then explore England from Windsor to Stonehenge and more. Our personal travel expert, Steve Bertrand, makes our traveling easy by taking care of every aspect of our arrangements. Get more information. Email me, sandy@WTMJ.com, or call 847-606-6065.
When your car or truck needs service, you should take it to a specialist. I'm Jim Token, president of the Auto Dealers Association of Metro Milwaukee. At a member, new car dealers have factory-warranted parts, the latest diagnostic equipment, and certified manufacturer technicians. Plus, their prices are as low or lower than independent shops, even on routine things like oil changes and tire service. Knowing all that, why would you ever consider going anywhere other than an Adam member dealer?
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, best-selling author and executive producer of a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you are over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, 1-800-578-3535. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. No credit card required. Call right now. 1-800-578-3535. That's 1-800-578-3535. Again, 1-800-578-3535.
Hey all of you jokesters, this is Max and we're back with another joke of the week. What do lawyers wear to the courtroom? Lawsuits! Ha ha! I cracked myself up. Back to Steve's City Show.
Thank you, young Max. Yes. You could use briefs in that joke too. Some texter sent that in. They look at briefs. We play on the clothing theme. So this question came in on the Old National Bank Talk and Text line, part of Ask Steve Anything. The study of weather is called meteorology. Wouldn't that suggest the study of meteors? Well, the study of meteors is meteorotics. But the better question, I think, is why do they call it meteorology? And that comes from the ancient Greeks. I looked this up. In 340 BCE, the Greek philosopher Aristotle wrote a book called Meteorologica. which contained all the information at the time about weather and climate. That's where that came from. How about that? You're not getting that on some of the other stations. Steve, are your any? This is funny because we talked about this yesterday. Are any of your neighbors going in on the no mow May? Well, there's a couple that are getting long, but I haven't seen the crazy height. That's the whole thing is nuts to me. Again, for those who are new to the show, here's why I'm not a fan of no mow May, which is infecting every. Like somebody on my Facebook feed was saying, "Hey, is Oak Creek doing this?" I don't know. I hope not. If you want to give the bees space to pollinate, to do whatever bees do it in your backyard. Most of us have backyards. You don't have to cut the grass all summer if you want to. You could be wading through like knee-high grass. Bees will say hallelujah. But for the rest of us to drive and live in neighborhoods, we want to have your front lawn maintained. So you can do both things. It's the classic example of the extreme and the extremism in our country. Instead of a logical, like a small area, backyard, it's got to be everything. I'm not cutting my grass till June. If I didn't cut my grass till June, it would be more than a foot long, and my neighbors would think that either we had died in our house or we left the country. Why does it always have to be so extreme? That's a great case study on American politics and culture. Any logical person could quickly assess, or they should, instead of this big campaign with yard signs, every yard looking like the people moved away, just do it in your backyard. Bees don't know if it's your backyard. They don't care. It's long grass. They can still pollinate things back there. They don't have any understanding of front yard, backyard. But all the rest of us can reap the rewards of a well-maintained lawn. That's probably a long answer to a short question. Steve, from the 262, have you noticed any missing paint on the letters, numbers on state license plates? Here's two recent developments on this case. Now, I understand that the state's going to do something about this. There's some new talk of a change. But maybe Mayor Ron from Waupun will let me know, because I think they still make the plates up there. Mayor Ron, if you're listening, call in right now. Let me know. But two things I noticed. One is a very recent development. One is old. The entire plates, all paint removed. Like it's silver now, or metal. Completely no paint. Almost like they did it on purpose. And the other one is, I don't know if they're doing this with a filter or something else, but the plate is all black. Now, I'm sure they're trying to scam something, like those readers, those electronic readers or something. The plate's all black. So either it's a cover or they're actually applying something on the license plate that makes it all black. Either way, don't like it. Steve, if they legalize marijuana, a conversation we had earlier in the show, do you think the crime rate will increase? The reason I say this is when businesses are closing every day and no workers, how will that get money to buy marijuana? When you think about marijuana, people always find money for it, right? To the tune of what, $500 million in Illinois, 37 or 50 million coming from the people in Wisconsin that drive down and bring it back illegally. I wouldn't worry about that. The crime question is interesting. Well, it would certainly decriminalize all of that, so we wouldn't be dealing with those cases, and maybe some attorneys out there probably wouldn't like that. I'm just telling you that when you have overwhelming support for anything that you have to the degree that we see with marijuana legalization, whatever you're talking about, medicinal, recreational, you might want to listen to those constituents. You don't have to like it. We don't all have to go out and start smoking marijuana or ingesting edibles. No one's saying you have to do that. But you wonder if you. Here's a random idea, just tossing it out there. You wonder if in this state, like Wisconsin, supposedly pro-law enforcement, we take that money and we devote it exclusively or primarily to law enforcement, public safety, whatever that means in your world. EMTs, firefighters, police officers. That's how we use the money once we legalize it. How about that? All right, I'm going to take another break. Got lots of questions on the text line. Love to hear from you on the phone as well. 855-616-1620. Ask Steve anything on WTMJ.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
There are heroes among us who run toward danger rather than away from it. We call them first responders. This is Steve Scafidi. WTMJ is partnering with Educators Credit Union to honor police officers, firefighters, and countless others who work every day to protect our families and loved ones. Do you have a first responder you would like to nominate? Go to WTMJ.com, click on the Salute to Service banner, and share your story. We'll bring you the incredible stories during Salute to Service month in May.
Steve Scafidi's Salute to Service with Educators Credit Union. Details now at WTMJ.com.
If you want to be sure that you're getting financial planning advice you can trust, work with a fiduciary. A fiduciary should be someone who acts as a steward for you. It means they treat your assets as if they were their own, that they protect them as if they were their own, and that they try to grow them as if they were their own. Now you can take this for what it's worth, but I'm doing all I can to run a firm you can trust. That's why we're a fee-only, comprehensive financial planning firm that doesn't work for anyone but our clients and focuses only on their best interest. By being a steward, being a fiduciary to help our clients reach their financial goals. I'm Jim Cantrell, and I believe we can show you a wiser way to build your wealth. So go to financialstrategiesinc.com and schedule a no-cost consultation.
Financial strategies, a wiser way to build your wealth.
I don't want to go to bed at night dreading waking up in the morning knowing that I'm going to feel like a rusty lawn chair getting out of bed and getting opened up and not being able to really move for a couple hours really throughout the day.
For former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter and those dealing with daily aches and pains, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments are a game changer, providing long-lasting relief.
Go into a specific joint, a specific region, and then help promote that healing process using your own body's mechanisms to heal. I mean, that's been something that's pretty powerful, and there's no surgery, there's no downtime.
QC Kinetics natural treatments help the body heal and restore itself. No more rusty lawn chair.
It's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
Pain relief the natural way. QC Kinetics. Call today for your complimentary consultation. Find out if you're a good candidate for treatment.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Ask Steve anything, any question, fair game. So we were talking about license plate. Who better to talk to? I mean, he's got prisons in his town. Mayor of Waupun, Wisconsin, the famous, solid Republican, by the way. Mayor Ron Bishop joins us on the phone. Hi, Mayor.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So before I get to any of that, you were calling me out earlier for beating up on. I wasn't beating up on him. I just was challenging a little bit the representative. Does he represent some of your area?
No, he's just south of Waupun.
Yeah, Mark Bourne.
Michael Straw has all of Waupun. Mark Bourne, yes. But Mark's a friend of mine, and I've been to his fundraisers in Beaver Dam over the years. And what was so funny is I heard the clip on the news about what he said about smoking weed.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud, and then your first segment was talking about it.
I just thought it was.
I got quite a kick out of it.
I just thought it was kind of dumb. But anyway, I want to ask you, because I think you're an expert on this. Correct me if I'm wrong. License plates in Wisconsin.
Every single one of them is made right here at Waupun Correctional Institution, and that's by state statute. And I know the person who asked Steve anything was bringing up the fact that so many of the license plates are getting unreadable.
Mm-hmm.
And they just changed the state law that starting this year, any license plate that's 10 years old or older, you will now be receiving new plates in the mail instead of just the stickers. So when I toured the prison about a month ago, they're upping production on the license plates because that's a lot of extra license plates they need to start producing. And then there's I forget, there's like 20 some different style of license plate. Everyone knows the regular one that just is Wisconsin and American Fairyland, but you got the Brewer plates, the Buck plates, the Harley Davidson plates. I heard you talking about the black license plates, and I think it's the Oneida Nation. It's one of the Native American tribe license plates, and those are actually hand painted to make them black with white letters.
Interesting.
So those actually take a little bit of time. But if you ever get the chance, they're all made in Waupun, and they're done still I kind of by hand. So one of the inmates has the punches, so it's like AAA 001, and it goes bang, and then he takes it, puts in a 2, and it goes bang, and he takes it and he puts in a 3, and the license plates is just like an assembly line, and they keep producing them producing them. They do a couple hundred an hour or something like that. And I think she told me on Mondays is when they stamp out the personalized plates, because that really
look at the
slows
knowledge he's dropping on the show today. You are like a subject matter expert. This is why you're mayor of a great city like Waupun.
I do love Waupun. I think that's how I became the mayor. But one of the perks of being the mayor was taking that tour and learning all of it firsthand. And it's just, you know, as mayor, because I know you follow me on social media, I like to tour the local manufacturers, businesses, and yes, the prisons, and post to social media, did you know? And one of the cool things I was able to do is, did you know the license plate on your car was made right here in Waupun, Wisconsin?
I love that. And City of Statues as well, right? Is that the official terminology? What's the official terminology?
City of Sculptures.
Sculptures. I've seen them. They're amazing.
You have. And the angel that you saw and took a picture of, she's turning 100 years old in October, Steve. We're having a centennial rededication if you'd like to come and be one of the guest of honors.
When is that?
/October 7th. And I think the mayor can pull a couple of strings for you and get you a VIP pass.
Hey, careful with that stuff. Now, where was the bar that we / restaurant that we went to for the great burgers? Where was that at?
Right downtown. It's called the Other Bar.
That's right, the Other Bar. Fantastic food.
Yeah.
It's like a tour of Waupun on the radio today.
Well, yeah, and Wednesday nights and on Sundays you can have chicken wings, and the deal is good and the wings are delicious. I highly recommend it.
When you walk in, do they scream Mayor Ron? What do they say?
It's funny you say that because they do call me mayor. The running joke there is they call me Mayor Quimby because he's the mayor on The Simpsons, and they have a picture of Mayor Quimby on the wall, and they put my face over his. So, you know, it's part of small town mayor. You gotta take it all, right?
All right, man. I love it. Thanks for calling in. I know we got to get to the news here, but I always appreciate your conversation. I will come up and maybe I'll make that centennial. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for talking about license plates. I had a good time calling in.
Absolutely. Mayor Ron Bishop, City of Waupun, great place. I took the tour. I loved it.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. All right, well,
thanks. All right, bye.
We'll take a break here for news. He would want to keep going. That's why I'm his favorite radio show, because I asked the question, and he was, boom, right there. That's why we just continue to deliver and give. That's what we do. We're givers. Spreading sunshine. Jeff Wagner loves when I say this. I spread sunshine, and I give. That's what I do. Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. Used to be 8:30 to noon. That news boy took my half hour. You know what I'm talking about? Vince Ficciano. Yeah, that guy. Still a little tension because of that half hour. Trust me. Although when you need someone to sit in from 8 to 9, who steps up? This guy does. We're airing a lot of dirty laundry today, aren't we? I expect him fully in Star Wars gear tomorrow because him and Bilstead are nuts for this stuff. Full Star Wars gear. May the 4th be with you.
There was one time they were lightsaber fighting in the background, and Jeff was like doing his best to ignore, but he finally acknowledged, like, was that Vince and Eric doing a lightsaber fight?
That's what I'm talking about. Jeff and I, we shake our heads. These young kids that we work with, juvenile delinquents. Well, they're not delinquents, but they're juveniles. All right, it is 11:31. I am late for news again. I apologize profusely. Not so much. Wyatt Barmore, Pooley.
Thanks, Steve. We've got new details on a man who was shot and killed by somebody in another vehicle on Fond du Lac Freeway. It was around 9 a.m. this morning that the incident happened. According to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, they responded to the 76th Street off-ramp. They found a man he's been identified as a 41-year-old man from Milwaukee. He died from a gunshot wound. There was a woman in the car as well who was not injured. Bystanders, including a nurse, rushed to help but were unsuccessful. The sheriff's office says initial investigations reveal the man was shot by somebody in another vehicle while on the highway. They haven't nailed down the description of the other vehicle. They're still trying to figure that out and identify and arrest the suspect. A Texas manhunt is over. A man suspected of killing 5 of his neighbors in Texas is in custody following a large manhunt. We're now hearing Francisco Oropeza's wife has also been arrested. Railroad tracks damaged after a train derailment in western Wisconsin along the Mississippi River have been repaired. The Federal Rail Administration is investigating that crash. And Randall Cobb reuniting with his bud Aaron Rodgers, the former Packers wide receiver, signing a 1-year deal with the New York Jets. Time for news about your money. It is the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And good news now, the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up. The Dow is up 11 points, the NASDAQ up 42, and the S&P is up about 8.5 points. Get on track for retirement planning and investment. Visit annexwealth.com. You can click the Get Started button today. Taking a look at your roads, it is your Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Things still looking good. Looks like no major delays on any of the freeways. And right now, the other good news is we don't have any accidents reported. So nothing is causing any slowdowns, and there's really nothing to watch out for on the roads.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Time for the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny skies today, a high of 53 at the lake, 58 degrees inland, decreasing clouds tonight, a low of 38. Tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny, but we do have a chance for showers late in the day, a high of 58. Friday, partly sunny, a chance for some showers, but warming up, high of 60 at the lake, 67 inland. That continues into Saturday, mostly sunny, a high of 60 lakeside, and up to 68 degrees inland. Sunday, mostly cloudy, a chance for showers, and a high of 63. Right now in downtown Milwaukee, it's 45 degrees. I'm Wyatt Barmore-Pooley, Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
Have a question for me? Perfect timing. Ask Steve anything, 855-616-1620 on WTMJ.
Grandview buys homes. Hi, I'm Tom Delich, here to tell you Grandview will buy your home in any condition. Water damage, mold, cracks in the foundation, not a problem. Electrical issues, bad roof, peeling paint. We've seen and bought them all. Or maybe your home just hasn't been updated in 20 or 30 years. Grandview will buy your home too. Don't do a single repair. And best, take only the belongings you want and leave the rest to us. Sell your home as is today. Call the name you know and the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
Smooth waters and clear horizons are ahead. The experienced team of advisors at Fox World Travel are ready to uncover your cruising style. Are you sailing off into a Caribbean sunset, taking in the European charm along riverways? Maybe an exotic expedition or Alaskan cruise are on your bucket list. We'll help you cruise like never before with Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Uniworld Boutique River Cruises, and more. Visit foxworldtravel.com or call a Fox Cruise expert at 866-GO-FOX-GO.
Offering a memory disorder program that's first of its kind in Wisconsin isn't just about innovation. It's about providing thorough diagnoses to improve treatments and help people live better. And our advanced brain imaging doesn't just further our knowledge. It's to help MS sufferers and their families find a treatment plan that's right for them. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Neuroscience Institute, we use our cutting-edge research to advance science and help resolve the toughest neurovascular disorders, all to help people. We're a nationally recognized leader in the diagnosis and treatment of complex disorders of the brain, and our comprehensive approach means that a range of specialists will provide you with a personalized plan, from early diagnosis through treatment and recovery. That's doing everything humanly possible in brain and neurovascular care, all so you can keep being you. To see a specialist with the expertise to help you, go to froedtert.com/neuro.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Feeling good on a Wednesday. Hopefully you are as well. We got a half hour or so before we hand it off to Jeff Wagner, but we're still doing Ask Steve Anything. Get a question, feedback, comment, doesn't matter really. 855-616-1620. He's been very patient on the line. Loyal listener, friend of the show, James from the South Side. Hi, James.
Yeah, so you always grow all your vegetables and all your stuff on your property and that. I was wondering if you'd ever think of doing a fresh festival for some of the listeners and maybe for one of your favorite charities or something like that in your community there.
Thanks for I'll let you hang up and listen to the answer on that. I love that idea, James. So I have two ideas. I hope the leadership's listening. I would love to host a garden-related show on the weekend. Pre-recorded, because I'm off on the weekends, but pre-recorded. Hour with guests that I like, local farmers who have fascinating jobs, growers, dairy farmers, whatever it is. I love that part of Wisconsin, so I'd love to do that. Growing things, farming. Obviously need a big sponsor for that, but here's my ask. We'll make it fun. We'll sell your stuff. But I think it's long overdue. We should get back to that. Back to basics, as I like to say. And we can do a listener thing. Again, let's get one of the local greenhouses. Maybe Tehans will show up. That's where I get my stuff from, my plants, out of my hanging baskets. Tehans Nursery on Rawson Avenue, beautiful Oak Creek. Also a partner here at WTMJ. Lovely couple, friends of mine, growing great plants. The best. They're already open. They're already booming. With that sun coming up this weekend, they're going to be busy as heck. And I talked to those folks, Tim, the other day about the plants. I'll be picking up probably 3 weeks from now, getting those things going. So, yes, great idea, James. One more phone call. We'll get back to the text line. Chuck calling from the south side. Hi, Chuck.
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So anyway, Steve, I got one for you. Down in Florida, Ron DeSantis and his party just passed a law, or if he were to get nominated or run for president, he would not have to step down from his office to see if he gets elected.
Correct.
Now, as it is right now, he has to step down on before. That's one. The other one is, would they have done that for another Republican or a Democrat?
Great questions, Chuck. I'll let you hang up and listen. Look, I understand why he's doing it because he wants to run for president. Any legislative change that impacts the individual that's pushing it, either his party, should not happen with that current individual in office. Otherwise, we could have leaders that have outright majorities in any state passing legislation that, increases their pay significantly because they have the majority, and it impacts them directly. It should impact the next person in that office. That's one. And if it was a Democrat, they wouldn't be doing this. And you should call out that nonsense. Those were the rules. You knew what the rules were. You don't want to risk, I'm talking to Ron DeSantis here, you don't want to risk losing your governor's seat because you want to run for president. What is it? You want to be governor or you want to be president? So when you change laws like that, it's selfish, it's self-serving, and it's wrong. Can't say it any stronger than that. A couple more before we go to break. Chris loves the Max's joke of the day, as all of us do. Do you think we should move the whole calendar back a month since we're having April weather in May? It's a great question. We had that 1 week. Was that March or April? I've lost track. I think it might have been early April, where it was like 80 every day, and my wife and I are sitting outside, and we're sweating out there. It was so hot. And then reality sunk in, but not spring reality, like winter reality. And if you know me, I refuse to put on a coat. So I've been freezing my butt off going out to the mailbox, doing stuff outside, cutting the grass, whatever, because I won't wear a coat. I refuse. And I was just talking to somebody offline last night. It's like, so we're going to get this year, if May doesn't get its act together, and it sounds like it might, we're going to literally get 3 decent months, and then it's fall. And we all know what fall can be hit or miss. Let's see, one more. Why are there not as many Republicans running for president like there was in 2016? I think they don't want that. The fact that you had so many candidates, 26, was it 15? I mean, goodness, Scott Walker was part of that mess. Somebody asked me the other day, I didn't get to it. Is Scott Walker done in politics? I'm starting to lean towards yes. I mean, he's got a great gig at Young Americans Foundation. Why would you give that up? You're making good coin and seem to like the job. Why would you go backwards? Just my take. Carol from Kewaskum also says, love your show, mostly on Mondays. I'll give Carol the love. A lot of people love the Monday show. The sunshine you just spread dissing on Vince is the type of sunshine my neighbor farmers speak with their sunshine/honey wagons. See, you get me. Carol gets me. Quick break.
This is the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
As the weather starts warming up, you're probably thinking about the golf course or the lake.
Or that honey-do list.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, you probably don't want to think about painting your house again.
Jeff and Roxanne here with Rhino Shield, and we are the better-than-paint people.
Rhino Shield is an exclusive ceramic coating system that looks just like paint, is applied just like paint, but comes in any color, just like paint.
Especially your wife's favorite.
But it's not paint.
Regular paint is going to last 3 to 5 years. Rhino Shield has been proven to last for at least 25 years.
We are so confident in Rhino Shield that we give you a written 25-year transferable warranty. That's right, transferable warranty.
Get 25% off that 25-year warranty if you book by the 25th. Call 262-900-4055 or visit rhinoshield.com.
No pain, don't paint vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Carrie, is this schedule the most updated?
There's a wedding season rush at Dr. Iona's dental practice.
We're fully booked this week. We can try and squeeze you in next Tuesday.
She needs a dental hygienist to unveil fresh smiles.
How long has 3 been under the UV light?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're looking for the finest of furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Malali. Malali Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
You can't see it, but you sure can feel it. The economy is struggling right now. How might this impact your retirement? This is Tony Drake, founder of Drake & Associates. Some retirement plans take into account economic downturns, stock market dips, and interest rate fluctuations. Does yours? To find out how your retirement could be impacted, request your Retirement Ready Toolkit from my team at Drake & Associates by calling or texting recession to 414-404-4994. This toolkit will provide helpful retirement information and give you strategies to move forward. Request your Retirement Ready Toolkit to find out ways you can prepare now for your retirement. Call or text recession to 414-404-4994.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Law Financial Group, LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply any level of skill or training.
Now, more of the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Few minutes remaining. I've asked Steve anything, any question, fair game. 855-616-1620. Let's go to phone lines. Paul calling from Sheboygan County. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. Happy Wednesday to you.
What's your question?
My question is, why don't the law enforcement people enforce the front license plate law? When you buy license plates, you get 2 license plates, but a lot of people only put 1 on.
That's correct. So let me answer that. Let me answer that question. Thanks for the call, Paul. State law in Wisconsin, this is the current state law, requires that if you get 2 license plates, you got to put them both on, front and rear. Supposed to be maintained in a legible condition. We know that's not true. Both should be legible and displayed so they can be seen and read. To your question, your direct question, because unless you're stopped for something else, they're not going to stop vehicles for license plate. I don't think so. Otherwise, I'm talking half the cars now, which is weird to me because I've had vehicles since I was in my late teens. I've never, ever not had both front and back plates on, ever. And it's almost like it's another one of these examples of Wisconsin law. Wink, wink, nod, nod. People just do whatever they want. Now, I'm not going to put it on law enforcement. They got enough to worry about. And I imagine if you were stopped for something, they might add that to the mix of things you were cited for. But I can't imagine in the world we live in, reckless driving, drunk driving, all of that, just crime in general. And we had a fatal on the freeway or the off-ramp today. It's like, seriously? Road rage? It's just amazing to me. The other one, I still don't have a logical answer for this one. You walk in any bar or restaurant. I know the bar owners get mad when I bring this up. There's like Vegas-level slot machines in these things. Is there some law that I'm not aware of that allows for that? Because if there is, let me know. Again, wink, wink, nod, nod. It's that form of justice we have. It's like the old Friday nights. We'll give them a break because it's Friday night fish fry night. Everybody that's in a bar, most people in a bar restaurant, probably over 0.08. What kind of enforcement happens there? Oh, you don't want to crack down on those people. Just saying. A lot of people saying that there's bigger fish in the lake. Yeah, obviously. You could stop 1 million cars. But does that mean we just disregard the law? Because that's what's happening. This is a nice comment. As a dairy farmer, I really appreciate you for giving us recognition. Thank you for support of Wisconsin agriculture. Absolutely. I know people that farm. It's a hard job. One of the hardest jobs there is. Long hours. Not a lot of appreciation. And we know the challenges they're facing, not only with the products they produce and the price they get for them, but all the grief they take. I would love to focus more on that. And you know, I've thought about this before. Early on in this show's history, we used to actually have some growers and some ag folks on the show. We got to get back to that. I'm going to bring back. I just had this conversation with one of my bosses about bringing back the Friday Forum. I think there's opportunity there. We could do all of it at the same time. Entertain, engage, and educate. I think there's a lot we can all learn. So I thank you for the nice comment. Keep up the great work. You guys and women are killing it. Let's see. This is from the 920. If doing an interdiction, speed or drugs or OWI, they will use the no front plate as a reason to stop, just like a taillight out. There we go. Sounds like this person is in the know. Another comment on the license plate. The DMV is starting to look up what kind of car you have. If it has a spot in the front, if it does not, they don't issue two. They just get one because the car was manufactured with only one spot in the back. What dealers have typically done for new cars, and maybe used as well, pre-owned, is have added a plate holder on a car that wasn't designed that way. Because often they have built-ins. You know what I'm talking about. Like a truck, there's a place where that plate goes. I have an F-150, an older one. You know where the plate goes. But the front plate was added by the dealer I bought it from. It wasn't original. Matter of fact, I wish they wouldn't have put it where they put it because it doesn't look good there, but it is what it is. More questions from the Old National Bank talking text line. Steve, I'm wondering, how do you know the names of the texters? Do they put it in front of the text? Or when someone texts you, how do you know whose name it is? Often we can identify frequent texters, and we'll add some information. Sometimes I think they can do it as well. I'm not sure how that happens, but there's a bunch of people that we know exactly who's Mitch from Sturgeon Bay, Diane, a lot of people. So I'm not sure. It might be both sides of the equation. Let's see. Gary from Racine. Randall Cobb signed with the Jets this morning. Rodgers has his buddy with him, and that will be an interesting scenario in being a player coach for the wide receiver of the Jets. Yeah, I mean, big news. Alan Lazardi's got. Did he get Mercedes Lewis? That's the other piece, right? If he gets Mercedes Lewis, he's essentially taken the nucleus, the old guard at Green Bay, not the new ones, the younger receivers, but he's taken the old guard and matched with some of the younger Jet receivers. He's got a pretty good mix. Although one could make the argument, if it wasn't working in Green Bay, why would it work in New York? But you know what I'm saying. Hi, Steve. This is from the 414. Registered nurse here. Farmers are great patients. They push themselves to heal as fast as possible to get back to work ethic like no other. Exactly. That's why I love them. Trust me, if you ever been on a farm, I worked on a farm, Mon's Farm in Oak Creek, when I was a very young man, young kid, picking, hauling stuff. Matter of fact, Shelly is my piano teacher now. You know, I'm taking piano lessons. Did I tell you that, Brandon? Producer Brandon? Yeah. Actually getting pretty close to some really good performances. I know you're excited
live
about
in studio, right?
Well, my one of my advisors said I should actually do that. So maybe I will. We'll see. At least record it and play it.
You could play it and then do your final letter to Aaron Rodgers.
I could. Well, that's just monotonous. That's just playing the same stuff over.
That's hard, though.
It's not a bad idea. It's a difficult instrument, but with a great teacher like I have, Shelly, you can learn. It's a great way to relax and unwind. That's why I do it. My wife says the other day, "Why are you still taking piano lessons?" Because I love it. I'm learning songs, and if you're a piano player, I will tell you that my first real song that I'm learning is Claire de Lune, which is not an easy song to play. And I'm doing it because I wanted to challenge myself, and I'm almost there. I've memorized it in pieces, and I'm starting to put it all together. There's some difficult pieces on my left hand that I'm still working on. But when I get it all put together, maybe I'll record it and we'll play it on the show. It sounds amazing. My wife even said it sounded like a piano player. How about that? All right, we'll take a break. We'll see what Mr. Wagner is going to talk about. Maybe I'll throw in another answer after this on Ask Steve Anything on WTMJ.
You're listening to the Steve Scafidi Show on WTMJ.
Spaceship to Debbie. Come in, Debbie. Traffic is slowing down.
Yeah, Captain, there's an accident 2 miles ahead. Take the next exit for a quicker trip.
Making it through Milwaukee traffic isn't rocket science. Debbie Lazaga is looking out for you on the roads.
Traffic has woken up. We have an accident. We got a little bit of heavier traffic. We got pockets of heavy traffic. That's going to be tacking on a couple extra minutes there.
Follow her on Facebook and Twitter. Only on WTMJ.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhart Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices.